Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between, yeah, it's all that. And we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to What's Talk Raps. You're listening to What's Talk Raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Hello, it is Friday, not Saturday. Due to certain scheduling things, we're here on a different day in a different time slot. But you know what it is. This is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. Of course, I am joined by Righteous Reginald. What's going on?
In the building, it's your boy, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. It's Friday, surprisingly. And I'm in the building, Philip Lindsey. I'm feeling good. Rent is due, so that is a thing.
First of the month. Wake up.
Living in that time. Shout out to Bone Thugs and Harmony. And things are feeling good. How's everything going for you this week?
Good. I got up this morning and I watched a little bit of New Japan Dantaku, and I was surprised to see we got some more smoke out here. And I was like, I really love this, man. I really at one point looked at my phone and was like, I love this shit. Like, we're really here. We're here on Friday, of course, if people don't know, because Backlash will be taking place tomorrow in Lyon, France. And it will be starting at 11:30 my time, which is usually the time we'd be sitting here recording a podcast. So because of that, Grapsody is today. Can catch us tomorrow. Not in our usual time slot, but close to our usual time slot, co-hosting the post show with Denise Salcedo.
Yep, we're going to be here talking all the Backlash post show rumblings. It's going to be your boys and Denise Salcedo. Cali Connection's going to be together on a Saturday. Very excited about that. So, yeah, we're here on Friday to give you what you want. They wanted us earlier this week, Phil, but, we can't just be hopping on at any time. It's been a very busy week for the game that we love called hip hop. Again, if you don't like hip hop, this episode, I feel sorry for you. Earlier this week, the battle has heated up. We talked at the end of Grapsody last week about how Drake put out his diss push-ups, and Kendrick Lamar came out the gate and blessed us with one. And I listened to that song about 150 times. Phil, how about you?
Yeah, what a great way to roll that record out immediately. I never bought into this hype. People were like, oh, he's not going to respond. And I kept telling people, nah, he's been waiting. This guy's been waiting for him to basically respond directly to him for a long time. If you know your Drake and Kendrick lore, this goes back a long time. Mm-hmm. Then they started off cool. That he was on Take Care. He was on the interlude on there, the Buried Alive interlude. Then did the Fucking Problems record come first, or was it the what do you call it? Poetic Justice or whatever.
Same year, I think.
So it's the same year?
Yeah.
That's Googleable. Why am I guessing? I have this device in front of me that shows me.
Because I remember partying to both of these at around the same time. So I know Kendrick was in 2012, and I think Fucking Problems was 2012 too.
Yeah, so A$AP Rocky's Fucking Problems came out in 2013.
2013.
And Poetic Justice did come out in the same year. But same year, the Control verse dropped. And unless you were living under a rock or something, the Control verse was Kendrick's verse on Big Sean's record that kind of shook the world. And it got all of these rappers at that time to come out and respond to this guy because they thought he was talking about them. But one person in particular took it very personally, and that is one Drake Aubrey Graham. That started him publicly making passive aggressive comments about this is his way multiple times, said things in interviews that seemed like they were clearly directed at him. Every time he was asked about an interview, he kind of was like, no, I don't have a real problem with him. And then he like give like some kind of passive aggressive dig at him again. So this has been going on for a while. And that turned into, like I said, him sneak dissing him on records. Kendrick threw some jabs at him a few times in records, famously in a BET Cypher. But that's where this stayed for a long time. Just the subliminals. This is people, these guys have been circling each other. I said 2013 was the start of this. For over 10 years now, they've been circling each other. And it's been kind of like, hey, man, at some point, one of you guys has got to throw your ace on the table, man. Spades is high, man. Like, you've thrown out all your low cards. Start playing them spades.
Let's do it.
And so that's when we got into this year, and we got the first-person shooter record. Now, in case I read this wrong, it seemed like Kendrick implied on the Euphoria record that he got a feature request to be on this song. And that answers a lot of people's questions with that record, because multiple times on this record, Big Three was mentioned, and it seemed like, hey, it's kind of weird that you're doing this Big Three record and the Big Three are not together on it. Just two of them are there. Cannot confirm for sure if that's what Kendrick meant by this request.
But
it seems like that's what he was implying, is that there was a request for him to be on that record, which makes a lot of things make sense. It makes sense why the tone of that record was so interesting. You can look at it a certain way if you're a Kendrick fan, or if you're Kendrick himself, like, hey, these guys is trying to stand up on top of this mountain and say they're the best, but hey, that guy in Cali, in a lot of people's mind, is the best. Why is he not being included in this?
It's I think Cole's part is extra interesting in this too, because now I'm thinking, like, if Cole just went and did this, Drake's like, yo, Cole, we got a song. It's gonna be first person shooter. It's gonna be me, you, and Kendrick. Drop your verse. Cole goes in there and he's like, I'm rapping with these two guys. I'm going to the top. I'm going crazy. I'm gonna take these guys' heads off. So he does that. Drake does his thing. They get a denial from Kendrick, and they kept the song the same, which is interesting.
Possibly.
And I'm guessing Kendrick was like, okay, I denied this song. Then I hear this song and y'all are talking about y'all are somebody with me implied in this, and I'm not there. And so Cole, now I'm guessing this all came out and he's like, wait a second, I didn't. It's not, I stand behind all that, but I probably thought that this was going to be different. So now his whole part in this is extra interesting, because he was like, all right, now I got to say something because I was there. The song that he's talking about, I was on there, so I should say something. But then he thought about it again and he was like, wait a second. I was never really trying to be a part of this. Like, I wanted the Big Three thing. Like you said, it's always been like the Kumbaya thing. And I want to get out of this. And now I understand why he's like, I'm out of this, dude. That wasn't the game that I was trying to play.
Yeah. First person shooter dropped in October of last year. That came out with the For All the Dogs album. And you're right. I do think it explains a lot of Cole's actions now. I've been saying for weeks now, hey, we might owe J. Cole an apology, man. Because I think now when you look at certain things he's done, his apology, it makes a little bit more sense. I don't think that he intended first person shooter, the tone to come off the way that it did. And I also think that I wouldn't be surprised if it was initially his suggestion to have the three of them on the record. That doesn't sound like a Drake call. I wouldn't be surprised if Cole was like, hey, let's all three jump on the record. And
like, if we're going to be talking about this, if we're going to be talking in a certain tone, like, the three of us should do this.
Yeah, I would not be surprised at that, which makes that line even more interesting, of him saying, I was surprised to get a feature request and we still got issues. And I could see Drake sitting at home like, I didn't want you on the record. I wasn't looking for this. Your mans was trying to kumbaya. And now that he's basically out of the way and trying to stop, bring the three of us together, let's dance. Like get this let's be friends stuff up out of here. And now I don't know that for sure,
No,
but
we don't know that.
that's just a hunch. Just based on other things I've seen, based on things we've seen Drake do for years, things we've seen Cole do for years. Would not be surprised if Cole really wanted this song to happen with the three of them on it.
So you think that Cole might have been trying to play mediator? Like maybe he's like, yo, maybe if I get in there, maybe if we do this, we could get to the bottom of whatever this is. And both of these guys are like, we're not getting to the bottom of this.
I 100% think that Cole has been trying to be mediator behind the scenes. And
feels like a Cole thing.
I think that he saw after he dropped his record and everything that happened that was not gonna happen. There was no piecing up, as Ross famously said on Dynamite 1. Ain't no making up. Ain't no making up. Don't seem like that's happening. But what a wild April we got, because we got all of this stuff within the month of April. After that record dropped, which almost like the Control verse, changed everything, because this was the first time that it didn't feel like a outright sneak diss. It felt like this guy was outright saying things directly to Drake. And when I first heard it, I was like, oh, we're here now. Let's get it. Let's get to it. And so we talked about it on this podcast. When that verse came out, I was like, both of these guys have to respond. At that time, I was like, Cole's got to respond. I've backed off of my feelings about Cole responding. It doesn't seem like he was calling Cole to this dance. He's been calling Drake to the dance all along. That's what this has always been. We got the 7-minute drill record on April 5th. That was while we're in Philadelphia at Wale Mania when we found out this dropped. A week later, that got deleted. By April 12th, it was gone. Wild times. I think Ross dropped his record on April 15th. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think Push-Ups dropped April 13th, because that was I think we podded that day. And after we got off the pod, that's when it leaked. It had leaked while we were recording.
It was leaked while we were on the pod, yeah.
Right. So it officially went up on DSPs everywhere April 19th. That's the same day we got the Tailor Made record, which has since been vanished into the ethos as well because of
second delete.
Which is also crazy. In the span of just April, 2 things directed at Kendrick were forced to be deleted.
Whoopsie.
Well, one wasn't forced to be deleted. One was made, a decision on its own. But yeah, then we got the Kanye like that first on April 21st. Nobody asked for that. But it's
still haven't heard it, and I won't ever hear it.
It's not good. It's bad. It's not good.
Ugly.
Minor detour.
Yeah.
But the day we've been waiting for since Push-Ups dropped, and I've been sitting around like, this guy is going to respond. I remember we got on this podcast, and I saw people in the comments. I saw certain people on Twitter like, oh, well, this is just going to be what it was. I was like, no, this is different, man. No. We're now at the part where you are speaking directly. These are not subs anymore. It's clear as day who each of these guys are talking to. You have to respond, and I've been saying that to both of these guys doing things for the last few weeks. You got to respond. We finally
did hate everybody being like, "Why is it taking so long?"
Because that was stupid.
It wasn't taking long at all. When Kendrick dropped
it in April.
They're like, Kendrick finally responded. I'm like, finally? What do you mean? It hasn't been any time.
What, like 3 weeks? Less than 3 weeks?
Right.
But yeah, so the Push-Up record dropped on April 13th. By April 30th, we got the Euphoria record.
Come on.
Yeah, it's about a little bit under 3 weeks. I remember getting up and seeing that tweet and rubbing my hands together like, man, we got action. It was somehow even better than I thought it was going to be, because I've known for some time this guy's got some heat, man. He's got a record. Yeah. I feel like this is a new record. I still believe that this guy has had records he's recorded about Drake for years that he
Totally.
did not put out. Again, this has been going, back and forth between them has been going behind closed doors since 2013.
I think he's had a record since 2013 at least.
I think he's had a record for a long time because a lot of stuff has been out there. But yeah, the Euphoria record, whew, layers,
Euphoria.
layers. To come first off, to come with the record titled Euphoria, and there's so many layers to that in itself. He gave the definition on the cover, and there's so many things that you can read a kind of way about Drake from that. Of course, the easiest reference here is the Euphoria TV show that Drake is a producer for, which is a teen drama. Of course, Drake famously starred in a teen drama to start his career in Degrassi, and he's making a point at this point in his career, he's still making content aimed at teenagers. In Euphoria,
dead.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to this. There's also the audio that's at the beginning of the song that's played in backwards. It is a Richard Pryor reference from The Wiz. So he's saying everything they say about me is true, which, I mean, Richard Pryor, very, very famous comedian, light-skinned with an afro.
Layers.
But Wizard of Oz character that is like this guy that has been doing machinations behind the scenes that gets exposed to be a fraud.
Who's in The Wiz also?
Michael Jackson. Layers.
You know what I also did like about the release is Drake dropped 2 disses. The first diss he dropped, it was released on social media. We were debating on if it was real, if it was AI or not, the first song. And so he had to officially release that. The second song he dropped actually had AI on it. So we were like, oh, okay, this is weird. And he dropped that again on social media, which is like, okay, Kendrick dropped his on his YouTube page under his name. It's like, this is me. This is real. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is my song.
Yeah. First time I saw it, it dropped on his Twitter account. And then it was on his YouTube. And then by the end of the week, it was on DSPs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, first getting into this, like, rapping very calmly over this Teddy Pendergrass sample, and like
Kendrick is so West Coast. When people don't like it, I understand. It's like, it's just history for me, like West Coast rap history. Kendrick is so that, and every time he does music, like this is just like an old 90s rap, gangster rap diss, and it's like, I love it. So when people don't, I understand.
Yeah. So comes in on this sample, and I immediately sat back in my seat when he dropped the line of "You're not a rap artist, you're a scam artist, just looking for acceptance." I was like, "We're here, we're here." Then he proceeded to speed it up and speed up the pace throughout this song. Dropped what I felt like several body blows at this guy.
Yeah, it's busy.
Bodied this guy up, then proceeded to get into his accent bag like Drake with the Toronto accent and Cody. And at that point, I was like, nah, he's cooking this dude.
We're out of here.
I mean, I enjoy Push Up as well, but listening to this, I was like, nah, he is like, he's bodying this dude, like on several levels, like just the layers to a lot of his entendres on here, to the things that he was leaving out, the line of I make music to electrify him, you make music to pacify him, which is, I mean, there's a double entendre there as well to tell people like, man, this guy just makes music for you guys to get in the club and dance with. He does not make anything that actually makes you think. But also the pacify line is also alluding to some allegations about him and young women as well. The
layers.
the YNW Melly bar was absolutely insane, and that was another one where I was just like, nah, he's out of here. He's annihilating this guy.
It's not supposed to be funny because it's a real serious issue, but the way that he tied it all into, you guys should understand what this is. Like, I have to do this to you, and if you don't understand, then you're dead.
Yeah, no. YNW Melly line was crazy. If people don't know who YNW Melly is, it's a Florida rapper who is currently in jail for executing a drive-by on two of his friends. And so, yeah, the line is, I think we're friends. I love those guys, but if we're not, I'm YNW Melly. That line, the Terrence Crawford line,
I'm whooping feet. Kendrick is the way he says everything on there.
Bro, nah, man, just too many metaphors on here. I just think if anybody in the weeks leading into this, which one of my favorite rappers was trying to tell us that Drake is a better rapper than Kendrick and he's more lyrical than him. Boy, that take has not aged very well because lyrically this was on a different level. Push-Ups was cool. It was a fun track. I enjoyed it a lot. I've played it a few times since it came out, but this is different. And I've seen people try to do there's no replay value. Bro, I listen to this song at least 8 times a day. Like probably more than 8 times.
I had to tell myself to stop listening to this song that day. And like, I hate when people say it doesn't play in the club. Well, I'm not in the club, so I don't care. Like, it's playing in my car very heavily. They said that about Like That, and then Like That was the #1 record in the country. So like, what?
I heard Like That coming out of a restaurant on Tuesday. Like, I was walking out of a restaurant, somebody was sitting outside in their car playing Like That. I hear Like That all the time. Number one song in the world.
#1 record. The Euphoria one's funny too because Kendrick mentioned Toronto Asian restaurant and their fried rice, and I saw a news story about the owner of that restaurant being like, "We're getting all kind of business. Thank Kendrick Lamar for being
getting all kind of business, getting all kind of reviews." The Euphoria record is like getting streamed through the roof. The views on YouTube right now is already in the millions. It's already like kind of lapped a lot of the Drake music that he was putting around the same time period. Kendrick is that guy, man. Kendrick's 101. When he drops, everybody turns around and pays attention. Now, it of course helps that you're dissing one of the biggest artists in the world, but it's also Kendrick Lamar, and like, it's not.
He's had a bunch of culture shifting moments. Like, anytime that like he drops, it's like, it's not like, oh, Kendrick dropped. It's like the whole world stops. Everybody's talking about it. It changes the game, and that's what his disses have done. Now, Phil, I love Euphoria. I think it's an amazing song. It has dope layers. It switches beats. It's really it's an amazing diss record. But I was like, I need like I like the production, but like, what if you like gave me some more? Like, what if you gave me some production? And so today, earlier this morning, I opened up my phone and Kendrick has dropped again, and to my amazement, has dropped a song with the production that is geared towards me. So, yeah.
I mean, man, I think him putting teasers for the next song in Euphoria, and then executing that within a week is insane. To to start and say in there, I liked back to back, but and then go back to back on this guy, and then use his own tactic of doing the timestamp record with the city, and then even the timestamp is like a triple, quadruple entendre. I mean, there's still a bunch of stuff that from Euphoria that I'm still dissecting. Like, I mean, even him saying, because at one point, there was this theory that Kendrick was behind a cease and desist for the Taylor Made record, right? Which I never thought was true. I that didn't make any sense at all.
It makes more sense for Kendrick to let that live than to take it down.
But Kendrick on Euphoria basically told us that Drake tried to put a cease and desist on Like That. And so I was like,
And then a story came out that this might have been true. At least the record label contacted some people to be like, maybe don't play that. So
yes. So yeah, there were other things attached to this, but yeah, I saw people saying that he didn't say anything about Drake that we don't know. He didn't say anything that other people hasn't already said. I absolutely feel like story of Adidon walked so this record could run, because there are a lot of things that Pusha T said on his record that he also said here or elaborated on. Of course, the Pusha T line on here also went hard. And when he was like, yeah, you know, I'm not going for you going there for real. I ain't hearing you pushing P. Why don't you push a T?
Why don't you push a T?
Yeah, his enunciation on both those letters is hilarious. But yeah, circling back and going back to the father stuff and saying, man, you know, should be being a father, but you don't know nothing about that.
Nothing about that.
Yeah, no, he was annihilating him on this record.
It was like Euphoria is a 6-minute, just like after every minute you're like, no more, dude, and then there's more.
surgical dissection of this guy on every level. Broke down his identity crisis.
The thing that I don't understand is like, did Drake think that Kendrick is not like Pusha? Because I like not knowing anything, I would think that these guys are at least on the same level, or you know, exactly the same. You know what I mean? And I knew that if Kendrick got into it with Drake, that he was gonna do this. It wasn't gonna be just like, I knew Drake was going to get on Instagram captions, making jokes, calling them short. Yeah. No, Kendrick is going to come on here and dissect your body and make you re-examine your whole life. He's going to put the mirror in front of your face. And that's what Euphoria was. Euphoria was like, look at this. And like, you never want to look at this.
Yeah. A lot of things he said in here. Poked holes in his rap persona, poked holes in his identity.
Now, how do you feel about that? Because what has came out of Euphoria is they think that Kendrick was shaming. And I listened to it again today, and it doesn't have anything to do. He didn't say you're not black. He said, how many features are you going to have to try to make it that you think you're blacker than you are? You know what I mean? Like, you're black. You don't have to keep telling us that you're black, is what I got out of it. But people have got out of it that he's shaming light-skinned people.
I didn't read it that way at all, because there are plenty of biracial mixed people in rap that we love and that we accept. I read it as Drake has always been an outsider in rap. Yep. Always, from the very beginning.
From day one.
Because he came in as a child actor that was on like a teenage drama. He's always come in and looked kind of like racially ambiguous. Mm-hmm. And so he's always been an outsider. And so he always had an uphill battle. And because of that, he's positioned himself next to, you know, the best rappers that he can for credibility, whether that be Wayne or Ross or Future, you name it, Khaled, all of the guys that he gets around. And essentially what he's saying is
culture guys.
Yeah. Essentially what I feel like Kendrick was saying is that you only want to be associated with the culture and blackness, and you only want to pronounce your blackness when you're trying to sell people things. When it comes to social issues, when it comes to actually doing things meaning for the culture, you're nowhere to be found. And that's why the Hill Figure line hits so hard, because the Hill Figure line is, hey man, cool, and we're making money off of you. But then it's like, hey, well, I never intended, you know, of course, the famous Hill Figure line that got him out of here and canceled with black people. I never intended it to be this. And that also goes with the FUBU line of him saying, you don't make music that's for us, by us. You make money to capitalize off of the culture and blackness. But you also you know, run back to non-black spaces whenever it's convenient. Which is a valid criticism of him, based on a lot of things we've seen Drake do. And that's not to say he's never spoken up on social issues, but it's very, very rare.
He doesn't use his space for that. And I understand, like
he's just not that kind of artist.
He exists in a different space. You know what I mean? But it's like, you should, though. You're the biggest rap artist in the world. You should say something sometimes.
Yeah. So I never took it as like a direct commentary on him being Jewish or him being mixed. I think it's him
No.
going. I think him saying it's him saying, "Man, you like to uh associate your stuff with this culture, and you also like to cosplay in all these different accents and like attribute yourself to all of these different things in the culture, with actually not actually living in that culture."
Mm.
Um, and I think it's also to the point, and this is I had this thought before the song came out, that no matter what Kendrick says on this record, in some people's minds, Drake has already lost, because he's lost certain people in the culture with certain things that he's done that people are offended by. I think
Yep.
what you did with the Tupac AI thing, you offended a lot of people in the culture. You saw a lot of rappers and a lot of rap heads come out and being like, "Nah, this sucks. This is whack." You also have offended the West Coast, and so it doesn't feel like you're just going against Kendrick. You're going
And we
against
don't
Kendrick.
play that shit.
Yeah, you're going against Kendrick as the spokesman for the West Coast, and that's why I feel like there are certain people that pick sides. When I saw Flex talking about it, and he was like, "Nah, I'm going with Drake," and it's like, yeah, because you've picked your side. You have associated yourself with the East Coast and being a New York guy, and for a big part of Drake's early career, he was in
He
New
was
York.
New
He was
York.
moving in East Coast, and so you're
Now I'm
so.
thinking about Cam and Mace, and I'm like, they're New York guys. It's the same kind of
If you
connection
notice, a
thing.
lot of the
Yep.
New York guys are
Mhm.
siding with Drake, because
Mhm.
now they're making it oh man, you're going against that guy that is the top guy in rap, and he's a West Coast guy.
Mhm.
Nah, I'm fucking with Drake.
Because
And
there's always this long standing. There's people that have never fucked with Kendrick. Cricket Eye did a post about it too, about like going into it. There's people that are on the other side of what you're saying, of like Kendrick was never gonna win because he's West Coast. He represents this whole thing, and they never wanted to show us love. Like the whole East versus West Coast thing sprung off of this type of. We felt like we weren't getting any love. Snoop went on stage and said, West Coast don't get no love. Like that's just like that's what this whole thing is. And it feels like this when I watch Funkmaster Flex. I'm like, oh, this is just like the old same shit. Like you're not even talking about the songs, you're just talking about the people.
yeah, Kenny, no, I don't consider a Drake New York guy either. But you have to look at it from where rap has been for the past decade or longer. Um, the top guy in this for a lot of people is Kendrick. It's been a very long time since a West Coast guy was at the top of rap. And I absolutely feel like some New York guys and some East Coast guys feel a way about that. I think
Yeah,
they look at it like, all right, Drake is going to be the guy that knocks this guy off the pedestal.
that's
Just
what it
like there
is.
are guys on the West Coast side that don't fuck with Drake, that feel like this is going to be the thing that knocks Drake off his throne. And I feel like both sides are looking at it the same way. Um,
Yeah,
and
no, I
so,
totally understand what you get. It's like what hip hop and New York are like synonymous. Hip hop started in New York, and when Drake came out, he was trying to be like backpack, old school, like New
yes,
York is where it's at. He spent a lot of time in New York, and so now those New York guys are like, well, we've been trying to take the crown from that fool for a long time, and people don't think that you officially have the crown. So maybe we'll just back you, and we'll get that fool from the West Coast out of here.
right. We don't have a New York guy that's on that level, but we do have Drake. That's how they're
Yes.
looking at it. Um,
Exactly. We all
but
know Drake's Toronto. He's
yeah,
666. Come on.
of course. But yeah, I think that's also what makes like the perception between both guys so interesting, and I think that's why re- before Kendrick even dropped a record, um, there were some people rooting for this record to do what it did and body this guy and get him out of here, because they
Totally.
already were against him,
Mhm.
based on whether the allegations against him are the thing that have turned you off on him. But there's so many
That's why
things.
I said Kendrick has like a long list because there's so many like you're saying like there's people been turned off. People have been turned off from Drake for like 10 years at this point. You
Yeah.
could pick 20 different issues that are like that's why the old school hip hop heads never accepted this guy because he's Drake. He came in
Yes.
rapping and singing. They were never going to take him for what he is. And so he's just been hammering those down. And the Tupac might have been a nail in the coffin for a lot of people. People just, you can't play
Yeah.
with that, man.
Yeah, and so you have other things like Drake buying Tupac's ring, and just I mean Kendrick also referenced that on the song.
Mhm.
And it's just people on the West Coast have felt some way about Drake for a minute. And so for him, he's
Rapping
the
for
guy.
Tay stuff. Like he has a lot of like issues with the West Coast, which is weird.
Yeah, he's the guy. It feels like in Four Brothers when they finally got Victor Sweet and they had all got him out there on the ice, and the guy that was going to come out there and fight him is Kendrick. Kendrick is the guy that's
Yeah.
coming out on the ice to fight Drake because all of these guys now have this problem with him, and you can see that when Euphoria dropped. All of these rappers that you could see either want to like that verse, on the like that record, or had something to do with it, or threw shots at him. They were all rah-rahing Kendrick to be the guy to get him up out of here. Now, I don't think Euphoria got him totally out of here.
No,
but
it was a great record though. Like it
great.
was it's critical condition. Like he's bad, you know, maybe not all the way out of here, but he's in the hospital.
Yeah. Great record. A lot of things from this. I don't think he's ducking this. I've seen people say, "Oh, well, he's not going to respond."
I don't believe that.
Drake has to respond to this, and I believe that he will respond very soon to it. I think that he's got something in the tuck that he's been ready to drop. Maybe this record made him rethink that. But that brings us to today's record, because this was very.
But no, yesterday some dude online tweeted that the push-ups record was going to drop, and it dropped in 30 minutes or something. So yesterday he was like, tonight Drake's going to drop and it's going to be lit, and then he never dropped. So I was checking all last night. I'm waiting for Phil's text to come through saying that Drake dropped. Nothing happened.
Once Act came out and said that was capped, that there's no record that was dropping, I knew it wasn't coming. Because it seems like Ack has a direct line to Drake.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like certain guys have direct lines to Drake.
Who came out with his cape after Euphoria. Oh my God, he flew his cape high. Yeah. And it's like, how can you, dude? It's all there, but like
nasty.
I saw a bunch of people saying that Drake won the first round, and I'm like, y'all are like, I understand being a fan, but like, are y'all listening? I don't think you heard.
What do we count as the first line? Are we counting Drake's response to like that as the first round?
No, they're everybody's forgetting about like that now. Now it's just
because that's what I consider the first round. The first round to me is like that dropped, and then push-ups responded to it.
That's why when they were like, Kendrick has to respond, I'm like, for what? Like that got him, like he could ride like that.
I still think he needed to respond after push-ups, because then it was direct. But yeah, now that we're in round two, oh no, I think Kendrick's up 2-0 right now.
Yeah,
and I'm a Drake guy. I like Drake a lot, but no, Kendrick's up 2-0. even if you want to look at it like, all right, we've officially started the beef once Push Up came out and Euphoria dropped. All right, then Kendrick's up 1-0. Because he's won this round.
However you want to spin it. If we're just doing like that, Euphoria versus Push Up, then Euphoria wins. There you go.
Yes. So yeah, we get to the record this morning, which, as I said, he spun the block and used his tactic from the Meek Biz of going back to back. If you guys don't know, when the Meek this was happening, when the Meek feud with Drake happened, he dropped a charged up record, and then he dropped back to back, which is really like the staple for him in terms of diss records. That's what a lot of people consider Drake's best diss record. And so dropping the line on Euphoria that he liked back to back, and then using that tactic on him, and immediately coming back to back. And then, like I said, using his
I just thought, what is it, the braids? You don't want to work with me, Nora. Okay.
What is it, the braids?
So funny, dude.
Hilarious. And I've seen people
the braids?
I've seen people saying that line out loud with the record. But yeah, so using his naming convention with the timestamp and the city, and then coming in over the Al Green beef, Al Green sample. Al Green also retweeted the song that was sampled this morning, meaning that he cleared that sample and he potentially knew what it was for. The other, of course, reference that other people have picked on is that Drake's, I think it's his cousin, his dad's cousin, was the guitar player on that song. You can't be the guy that thinks on things on this level, that picks things like this and will layer things like this. You can't beat that guy. I'm
He's
sorry, you
thinking
can't. You
way
can't.
too ahead. Like
you,
what? They're
you
like what?
can't.
And
You
the,
can't beat that guy.
and like knowing that Drake would kill to have that sample, to have that privilege, to have that access, and Kendrick like is like, got your ass, is like
Well,
insane, man.
wait a minute. Plot gets deeper. One of the things that he did on the Taylor Made record is, hey man, you push your stuff back because you don't want to drop when Taylor drops. Like Taylor makes us all push our things back. And then this beat is produced by longtime collaborator with Taylor Swift. This beat, this song is literally Taylor made.
What a sick individual.
The timestamp on it is a reference to multiple things. It is Pac's birthday. It is the start of the OJ trial as well, June 16th. It's a Corinthians verse. I saw another date that it's linked to that I forgot, but yeah, dropping that, putting the leather glove on the cover. Because again, reference to OJ, the fact that it's an MMM glove. 6/16 is also Father's Day.
It's a sick guy, man.
Again, this is before the song even started. This is just the title of the song, man. And I mean, he doesn't say a lot about Drake at the start of this. He's just like, I mean, he does. The first line of the song is very, very funny, man. Off-white Sunseeker at the marina. Starting the song that way is crazy. But he at some point in this song makes the suggestion that, hey man, if you're going and paying and trying to find dirt on me, I'm sorry that you wasted your money. I'm sorry that I live a boring life, but I love peace.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a tie back to what
that I live a boring life. I love peace.
Which is also something that Push said about him. Push was like, man, you trying to put money out there to get dirt on me. It ain't working. And now it seems like that's also what Kendrick is saying. Hey man, you trying to put money out there to get this. It's not working. He also alluded to a cash doll rumor here that I think is what he thought he had on him. I think he thought that he had this cash doll rumor, that he cheated on his wife with cash doll, and that was going to be the thing that ruined his marriage. And he basically says in this song, if that's your trump card, better find something else, because that ain't going to do it. It's false. Yeah. He's basically in this song taunting him like, hey, man, you still haven't responded. Hey, by the way, if this is what you're going to use for your response, that ain't going to work. Hey, if you think you're going to pay for some money to get dirt on me, that ain't going to work. Hey, those niggas in your circle, they don't like you either. They don't fuck with you. Just
there's
the
20
energy.
Niggas around you that don't like you, and one of them is right next to you.
Which, if you didn't notice, is a tie back to his own bar that is 20v1. Bro. Again, Drake's got to respond, but after hearing this morning, I was like, "Oh, it's getting spooky, man." He's now playing chess with this guy. He's predicting his moves. Which he said in the first song. He was like, "Man, I could telegraph what you're gonna do before he did it." And then he came out, dropped this song, and basically,
Drake's got to respond. If I'm Drake, I'm coming out with a white flag. All right, man. I thought we was just playing. I didn't know this was what we was doing. You doing too much. This is the second thing, Phil, and he's already cut his legs off. Imagine what he has in the damn vault.
Yeah,
this is the second thing, and he's already it's already. I'm like, yo, stop.
But again, I must say I loved this. As soon as the record was over, I was like, Drake, drop your record, man. Like enough, man. Like I said earlier, man. Enough. You've played your clubs. You've played all your diamonds and hearts, man. Spades, man. We're playing spades now. Enough.
Like I was saying about the 6/16 song, I like the Euphoria track. I think it's crazy. I like this song better. Like the way that, like the beat, the way that
sample's
he's rapping,
crazy.
the sample's insane. Like this is like, oh, this is just a great song.
Yeah. This week we ate
and
really
that
good.
was a thing too, because people were like, Euphoria, kid, no replay, blah, blah. I'm about to replay the shit out of this too. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, man, what a week of just great music. just all of the mess that's attached to this now.
Mm.
I'm here for it. This is what I wanted when Ross was doing all the IG stuff. I was like, look, this is funny, this is cool, but get back to the raps, man. Kendrick has officially forced us all to get back to the raps. And now I think that he's dropped those 2 big records. I feel like nobody else should be dropping records at Drake because you're not in that weight class. Let those 2 guys do what they're going to do. Ross, that record was cool. I don't need no more. I don't want to hear it. Weekend, appreciate you, bro. Don't need it. Let these 2 guys
piece, I appreciate it, but this is a heavyweight matchup, 1-on-1 for the world title, and let these 2 men go at it.
Yeah. Whew. I seen people trying to think pieces, like you said, and I saw the colorism thing people were trying to bring into it. I also saw people try to say that Kendrick was insinuating that he was gay and he doesn't like women. I don't think that's what that line meant at all. Because they're taking the line literal of him saying, I don't think you like women. I think you secretly envy them. I don't think that he's saying that he's gay.
No.
I think that he is, this a tie back to the other line in the song of him saying, you don't date real women. And I don't think that that's in a homophobic or transphobic way. I think he's saying,
oh, I was wondering what people were talking about, but that he wasn't saying, I don't think you date real. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, I don't think he meant it in a homophobic or transphobic way. I think he's saying you date young women. These girls are literally not real women. You date IG models that are vapid and they are getting all the surgery and all this stuff. These are not real women. These are like women that I don't mess with because. And there's a reason why you're still at this age doing emo crooner music and you haven't found love because you look at the dating pool you're in. But yeah, man, body blows. The last line that I will reference from Euphoria, and we have to move on. Man, telling him, man, I heard the boy, but I still ain't heard the man yet. I was like, get out of here, dog. We're done. Enough.
That is,
leave him alone.
So you again, like you've been saying about this, to continuously use his own stuff against him and like hard to is like. Again, mirror. He keeps putting the mirror in his face, Phil, of like, look at you. This is you, bro. This is what you're doing. This is what you look like out here, and you look crazy. Is like, it's tough. That's tougher to me than like you're blah blah blah. You don't have money. You don't have this. You don't have like no like. I look crazy out here, and everybody knows it. And you're talking for the culture. Tough.
Yeah. To summarize this. Drake got off some cute lies. He said, "Man, you splitting with your guy Top, and you're short." This guy said, "Look, you're a deadbeat father. The culture don't love you. I don't love you. I hate you. I hate everything about you. I hate how you dress, and you mess with underage women, and you do this, you do that."
And you talk about splits, and you came under Lil Wayne, and we all know Lil Wayne's story. What do you mean?
Pick this man apart on every level.
Drake's got to drop though this weekend, or he should wait.
I don't think it's dropping this weekend, but I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to rush something out because I think that's what he's trying to do with the 616 record. Man, even him getting into his hater verse of I'm the biggest hater, and then referencing the DMX the clip from that interview,
and then Drake showing that Kendrick is right by responding with the clip from 10 Things I Hate About You. And Kendrick's like, this is exactly what I'm talking. How do you lay it out? And then Kendrick's like, here you go. You're right.
did you think about like Julia Stiles in that clip and just like Julia Stiles and Save the Last Dance and like how she exists in that hip hop space?
Yes. I'm like, why are you're doing this to yourself, dude?
You're doing the thing
that you showed this to me. I'm thinking of Julia Stiles and the homie sitting in the chair and they're doing the dumb dance thing. I'm like, bro, why are you doing this to yourself?
That I thought about that immediately, and it immediately took me back to him putting out that back and forth with his mom after the Ross thing, and I was just like, dude,
you don't get it.
Again, I'm not trying to make the point that this guy is white or that him being mixed is an issue, but these are two very white things to do in response to somebody calling you white. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, oh man, ending that first song with "We don't want to hear you say nigga no more." Stop.
Stop.
classic stuff. Oh man, what a time! Again, like I started this
What a
podcast,
time to be
I love
alive.
this shit, man. I'm
Mm.
sorry if you guys did not want to spend almost an hour with us talking about this, but oh man,
We've
what a
been
time!
waiting. We've been
What a
waiting.
time, man.
We came up on this shit, and for the two biggest rappers in the world, we've been through this before with Nas and Jay-Z. For the two biggest rappers in the world to go head to head, it's like a different feeling, man. You can't replicate this.
And we've been waiting for this for so long. Like this has been
Yeah,
over 10 years in the making, man.
build up.
I saw somebody explain this in terms of WWE, put it in wrestling terms. And I was like, it's hard to do that because this has been building for so long. I can't think of anything that's been like brewing under the surface for so long.
I thought, because I think Drake is John Cena. And this is the reason that I think Drake is John Cena. He's been on top for longer than most people have. When you think of the greatest WWE superstars of all time, The Rock, Stone Cold, Brett, Shawn, Hogan, most of those guys are like 2 years on top, 3 years on top, 5 years on top, maybe. Cena was on top for like 15 straight years. He got all the accolades, he got all the numbers, he got everything. When we look back in history, we're going to be like, well, Cena fucking got all the numbers. That's exactly how I feel about Drake. Throughout history, everybody's had a run. Jay, Nas, you can go through all kinds of people. 1 year, 2 years, maybe 5 years. Drake has been on top for like 15 straight years. No denying, nobody's up there with them. Nobody, he's like, the game revolves around him. So I think Drake and John Cena have a lot of similarities. I think you guys are gonna be like, yeah, of course. Kendrick Lamar is Bryan Danielson, and let me tell you why. He is the goats of goats. He's been just cooking, living life
West
over
Coast.
here, but he did the reason why he's Bryan Danielson, because he's done what Drake has done and more. Like he's had hit records, he's been on top, he has platinum albums, he has all the awards and accolades. But also, when it comes down to doing this shit, there's nobody better than him. When it comes to getting in the ring and fucking sparring, Kendrick Lamar is that guy. And these guys have always been parallel. Like John Cena's career in WWE started in 2002. Bryan Danielson started like 99. They're always ran parallels. Like these guys are in the same league. They've existed in the same places. But when it comes down to this shit, it's different.
Yeah. I that's a really good comparison because you can also throw the culture vulture allegation on Cena.
Parallels.
Yeah. I think
a guy that was pushed, and like if Drake has been pushed and we're like, don't, like for a long time, everybody's like, why he's this guy? And nope, this is the guy. This is our guy. He's the forefront. He's the leader of this shit.
Yeah. I think another real good comparison is the mega power splitting up because in a lot of ways, Drake is Hogan because
1000%.
because in a lot of ways, Drake is Hogan because Drake is like one of the biggest stars in this thing right now. Like Hogan at his peak was the biggest star in this thing. He was everywhere. But you always heard certain rumblings behind the scenes about how other people didn't respect him. And when you look at how all of these other people in the industry seemingly don't respect him, and you can see how the culture is shifting and going against him, it feels like that's what eventually happened with Hogan. And Macho Man, on the other hand, putting Kendrick in the Macho Man place, he's respected for having not as many main events and not as many numbers, not as many accolades like Hogan has. But he has what's considered for a lot of people the best WrestleMania match of all time.
Right.
It doesn't really matter the numbers. Like substance wise, if you look at his match catalog, there are much more great Macho Man matches.
Yeah, I mean, like a million.
But
Hogan's got all the accolades, all the numbers. We're here because of him, and that's what it feels like. Drake is like, he has all the number, he has all the accolades. Hip hop exists because of him and shit type thing. So, like, the parallels are really funny.
Yeah, I mean, you could also, if you want to get very literal with it, if you want to get very literal with it, Drake is Roman.
Yeah.
Roman is clearly a Drake fan. He does a lot of his stick with passive aggressiveness in character. And when you look at WrestleMania this year, it feels a lot like what happened with the Likes that verse. And all of a sudden, all of these guys were coming out against this guy. Like all these enemies that this guy has made all this time are coming out against him.
Who is The Rock in this? Future? No.
No, because he's siding with.
He's
Roman.
on Roman's side. I don't know.
Who's the
But I
Rock
see
in
it.
this?
Yeah, like who's the Rock in this situation? if WrestleMania is the like that verse, because Drake hasn't had any help, has he? Who's helping him?
Oh, there's people that are definitely siding with. Like Jim Jones has made it clear, like, nah, I'm Drake.
But
I'm
with
Team Drake.
rap though,
that's rapping. The closest he's got is Cole.
So Cole is The Rock. You said it, not me.
Nah, I can't make that 1-to-1 comparison. But yeah, nah, I saw a lot of that. Explain this in wrestling terms to me, but no, essentially, like this has been an ongoing thing that's been brewing under the surface for a long time, and we're finally here now. It's finally everywhere. It is now a mainstream phenomenon.
It started at WrestleMania 30, and we're at WrestleMania 40, baby. We're going for it.
Exactly. It's now water cooler talk. You cannot go anywhere without hearing certain things about Kendrick or Drake, or hearing the songs, or hearing this.
Kendrick songs have been all throughout NBA playoffs. Like every time you turn on the playoffs, just Kendrick. It's great. It's amazing.
Yeah. What a time.
It's gotta hurt for Drake. I'm sure we have some super chats on the thing, and guys, thank you.
Send us your super chats if you want to get your comments in on Kendrick versus Drake, or tell us to get into some wrestling talk, you guys, or whatever. Also send us your Humper chats. HumperChats.com/Fightful is the place to go for that.
Facts. Coffee Black says, I got my wisdom teeth out on Monday, and when Euphoria dropped, I damn near popped one of my sutras. That's a word. Kendrick was not playing games. Kendrick was not playing games at all. My whole day. That's why when I say Kendrick shifts the culture, like I eliminated all my plans. I stopped the world. I was like, I just have to listen to this song.
Yeah.
John Mitchell says, this beef has been wildly entertaining, but it's not official until the game finds a way to shoe ham his way into it.
He's trying. He's trying. You haven't been paying attention to him on IG. He's been trying. He's absolutely trying.
I'm like, yeah, you must have not have seen any of his stuff, because Game's always trying. He's put his 2 cents in there a couple times. He sided with Drake, didn't he?
Game?
Yeah, the thing that I saw was like, wait, whose side are you on?
He's definitely siding with Drake, because it seems like he's still upset with all the Interscope people. People have been making a joke that he's still upset that he didn't get invited to be a part of the halftime show.
Yeah.
And so no, he's been saying all this weird stuff about Dre. So
that's not Kendrick's fault though. That's not my fault you beefing with Dre. But if you Dre's man, I guess
he's in his contrarian mode. He was throwing shots. Not even throwing shots. He put out a whole diss record about Eminem. He not messing with nobody in Interscope.
Yeah. So. I guess.
Oh man, speaking of diss track, did you see Rikishi put out a diss track? You didn't see this? He put out a diss track over the lean back beat, and he's in the Sultan character. He did it as a tribute to Iron Sheik, and he's dissing Hogan. You ever see this?
What?
It dropped today.
What? I've been entangled in Kendrick and Drake stuff. I haven't heard this. I don't even know what you're talking about. What? The Sultan,
bro. You haven't seen this?
I have not seen this. No.
Like I said, it's a Hulk Hogan diss. He's rapping in a Sultan character, and it's a tribute to Iron Sheik. It's actually fire. It's great. It's all over Twitter.
Fire. I cannot believe this. I'm gonna get to these super chats and I'm gonna pull it up. Tony P says, Dot was so petty I had to give POTW twice.
Petty of the week.
Petty of the week twice, yeah. My bad,
That's
Tony
his.
P. I should have known that's your deal. You're usually on the Humper Chat side. Shout out to Tony P for being over here. Yeah, he definitely got double petty of the week this morning. Vasco
times.
says Kendrick with Euphoria and 616 in LA. Love it. LA, baby.
LA was down bad, man. Lakers lost. He came and restored the feeling for you guys, man.
Kendrick had to make sure this weekend wasn't the worst, Phil. He's like, I know y'all are down, but I'm gonna get y'all back up. And he got
the funniest tweet I saw from the day Euphoria dropped was that guy that was like, man, nah, he saw what he saw what Jamal Murray did to the Lakers. He was like, all right, enough of these Canadian guys, man. Let me get this guy out of here.
Hey, nah, for reals. Kendrick know what's up. He's LA. He knows that they be down when the Lakers lose. Jay Stone says Drake wanted quintuple, triple entendres, and K. Dot giving him what he asked for. Drake should stand down and more. Drake should stand down or act like he's lost his hearing. It's over.
Nah, he's not going to. He's in too deep now. He's gonna respond. It's personal now.
Yeah, they told Kendrick that's what's really been funny. Jay Stone brings up a great point. Everybody told Kendrick to rap on some shit, and people have been like, "Why do I have to dissect? Why do I have to do research for his for the diss track?" And I'm just like, "See, this is why you can't have nice things."
Yeah. He also, man, him saying in the first song of, "Hey, man, I'm not looking to go and try and dig up dirt on nobody. I'm not that invested in this, man."
Mm-hmm.
And essentially saying, "I don't have to dig up dirt on you.
I don't have to.
I already know a lot. People are already volunteering information.
It's there."
Yeah.
Crazy 101 said, if this was a boxing fight, Drake is down again. Definitely.
Yeah, he's definitely holding his stomach. The cut man is definitely doing some work on him in the corner at the moment, man.
Mm-hmm. Our friend Eloquent says J. Cole somewhere like, whew, that was close.
Listen, I'm telling you, I think that's why I really believe he was playing mediator, because I think he talked to Drake and he was like, man, look, I'm about to bomb on this dude. He probably talked to Kendrick, and Kendrick probably had the same energy. I'm about to bomb on your boy. And he was like, okay, let me get out from the middle of this.
Wait, that wasn't the energy I was talking about. Like, hold on a second. I thought we was trying to be cool. Yeah, I really feel like he was just in the middle. Like, hold on, what that one boxing referee just like, oh, hold on, you guys. Like, what's going on here? He got out at the right time. Probably ran home, drank some tea, and kissed his wife like a real centered human should. Delayed Grat says you're alienating non-rap fans, so please keep it up every day, all day. Better yet, start a hip-hop channel. I'll join the Patreon. We love it. They know what they come to Grapsody for. It's hip-hop also. Eloquent says, so when does Jay Prince force Drake to stand down? I'm sure that's coming. I've been waiting for the Jay Prince cameo. I keep thinking of him standing next to Kanye and Kanye being like, hey, I didn't mean it.
There was some very scary stuff on that Euphoria as well, because he absolutely threw some shots at Jay Prince and his son, and I was like, listen, Drake ain't about that life, but one of these guys are. So, one of these guys are.
Whew. Roddy Piper says, did Drake still Hater of the Year, or does it still belong to Drew? Or does Kendrick still Hater of the Year, or does it still belong to Drew?
I think it's Kendrick at this point.
Kendrick is.
It's pretty close. Joe Hendry's getting up here, man.
Joe Hendry is
getting his shit off. Him doing the I Hope You Get Fired record on Impact this week. That was a cover of what do you call it? The Higher record.
Yeah,
very
come
funny.
On. My guy Joe Hendry he's on his way up there. That's all the super chats on the rap stuff for now. I'm saving the other ones for a little bit later when we get into some wrestling stuff.
Yeah,
I think we got a hard out today too, don't we? So we have to get to it.
Do we have a hard out?
I think so. Do we?
I don't know. But the shout out to Joe Hendry, man. He's killing it right now. He's officially turned into a meme. If you followed this guy already all the way from
no, that thing's on overbooked. Sorry, you guys. I was looking at the schedule and seeing what was going on. Just trying to keep everybody updated.
We're good. But yeah, man. Shout out to Joe Hendry. If you've been keeping up with this guy since he was in the UK and as a part of What Culture Pro Wrestling and seeing how far this guy has come, it's pretty crazy, man. So, man, I think it's really cool. I think it's cool that he's getting so much traction online.
It felt like they brought him in as like, because he came in and he was like the digital media champion. And they kind of had him,
which makes perfect sense for him.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and they had him on like some side gigs. But this he's one of the most over guys they have in that company. They're gonna have to like do something about it.
Man, go figure. I think this feud has worked out really good for him and AJ. I did not think I would be saying that when he initially showed up, but I think it has. And you've thrown Rich Swann in the mix as well. I think it's worked out really well.
It's killer. It's dope. I like everything involved in it. But Joe Hendry, yeah, he's definitely up there for Hater of the Year. He's going for it.
Yeah. Let's hop into some Humper chats. We got Humper chat regular Tony P. He says, so we done with you two talking about the Petty of the Week winner earlier. Let me throw in my 2 cents. The hate in his heart on a random ass Tuesday was loud and clear. Then he decided to fuck up White Boys Weekend this morning for good measure. The mainstream coverage and success of Euphoria was undeniable. It still had people talking and dissecting the song, picking up new things we haven't noticed. It even helped a Toronto restaurant. Now we're about to be doing the same with 616 in LA. Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing about all of this is that it has people talking about rap music and not just talking about it in a surface level way. Even the think pieces that I'm like, this is kind of silly. I'm like, hey, but at least rap is a big topic of conversation right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take some of the dumb think pieces if they are concerning rap bars and what that has to do with.
Yeah. He also says, we also knew Dot had more in the clip and proved it this morning. Quickly said, fuck Act. We did not get into that.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Have you seen that clip of Act listening to it on stream?
I haven't. I'm sure it's very
funny. It's like he's listening to it like nodding his head, and then he hears the part. It's like, yeah, and Act. He was like, what? What did I do?
We know what you did, Ack. You did a lot.
Yeah, he says, quickly said fuck Act, then told Drake not only did he lose his money was trying to find dirt on him, but making fake rumors gain traction, but also by paying his biggest ops, his own OVO crew. Just a bad week for Drake. Hell, you know it's bad when Ross was feeling sorry for him. Even some of Drake's diehard fans admitted their bad bitch got cooked. Pusha was on some take this black guy and leave me be shit. Dot is on some die nigga die shit. Yeah, I have to imagine. You can't say that Pusha feels vindicated because he won that beef. He absolutely won. But I do think he's rubbing his hands together like, look, I told y'all. Like everything he's saying is coming back to like.
But yeah, he's been vindicated because like he won.
I'm seeing people in our chat say Coach LeBron strikes again, which means, and there it is, the notification on my phone, Darvin Ham has been let go after 2 seasons. I expected no less after they lost and how Darvin Ham was getting a lot of the blame after their loss, but there was no way they were going to win this series. The second they
and it ain't his fault.
No, the second they landed in that 7th spot and they got matched up with the Denver Nuggets, we knew he was gone. We knew they were losing. I immediately said, hey, man, Denver in 5. It's been fun knowing you guys. It's been fun having these delusional conversations with Laker fans that think they're a threat, but they're not. The Denver Nuggets are going to put them away. And that's what happened. Jamal Murray got an injury at some point. I thought this series was over at Game 4. Lakers came and picked up a win, but I was like, that's over. Game 5 is over. There was a little bit of elation from people that were like, man, Murray's hurt. We might have a chance. Bro, Murray started that game aggressive, ended that game with a game winner. Stop playing with him. Stop playing with him, bro. I made the comment that was one of Jokic's worst games in terms of effectiveness. Stat line, of course, the guy had 24 points and 20 rebounds. Not really a bad game, but like some of the unforced errors he was making, some of the shots he was missing, I was like, what's going on with you, Jokic? But, bro, Murray is different. That guy, Michael Porter Jr., he another one. Stop playing with that guy.
Listen, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum for LeBron James hate than my friend and co-host Philip Lindsey is. I don't have the hate that he is. I like him. I'm a big fan. I think he's one of my favorite players of all time. But this many coaches, man, I like, dude.
Listen,
Every single time there's coaches, like, come on, it can't be this many coaches, you guys.
one day you're gonna join me in this conversation of pointing out the fraudulence of LeBron James. There are a lot of things that he does that are very fraudulent.
It can't be this many coaches, Phil. Come on.
I just I don't know, man. It just always seems like it's somebody else's fault, man. It's
That's
never
how it
his.
feels. Right.
And it's just like I'm pretty sure D'Lo is going to be the next on the chopping block. I think the word is he's going to opt out of his contract.
See, I don't like it because it's like when it's bad, it's somebody else. But if they win, then it's me.
It's all
and then
me.
that's what I don't. It's like, all right,
It's
dude,
all me. I
that's not
deserve
fair.
all of the praise when we win, but then when we lose,
Wasn't
no,
me.
it's that person's fault. It's that person's fault.
So, like,
and-
is it your team or is it not your team, dude? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's when you win, it's your team. When you lose, it's somebody else's team, and I don't like that energy.
Yeah, I don't think that the Lakers played well in that series. I think the biggest thing that I noticed in that series is that wasn't the best basketball Denver could play.
No,
I don't think that they had a truly great game in that entire series, and they still beat them handedly.
Yeah.
If they played even a little bit better, that's a sweep.
Yep.
And I said that from the beginning. I know people that were like, "Hey, man, hopefully they get the 8th spot because they could play OKC." I think OKC would have beat them too. I think
Totally.
OKC is better than them. I've been warning people about the Minnesota Timberwolves as well. That guy Anthony Edwards is not playing. He I saw a lot of people comparing this to Shawn Michaels super kicking Ric Flair, getting his old mentor up out of here. A lot of old guys that we loved going into this series. The sun is set on a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Steph is out of the playoffs. LeBron is out of playoffs. Durant is out of here. Giannis isn't as old as those guys, but he's already out. A lot of those guys that we loved coming into this, man, they're gone. All the young guys are moving forward.
It feels bittersweet, Phil, because like we've been watching them for a long time at this point. Some of these players for 20 years, LeBron at this point. But it's like it's bittersweet because they all have rings, they got championships, they got MVPs, they got all the accolades, and like maybe it's just time, you guys. Like we've been watching these guys for a long time. It's time for a new guard to get some championships, time for a new guard to take over. And that's what it feels like. It feels like exciting young basketball. And those guys aren't sad old men. They all got rings and money and all the accolades in the world.
Yeah, I know all of the narratives about Kevin Durant are going to get terrible after all of this because he lost once again. But man, I love Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's one of my favorite players, and I just think the way he welcomed the challenge of Anthony Edwards is exactly what I like about him. The fact that he didn't get upset when Anthony Edwards was talking trash to him and beating him. He had this big smile on his face, like, come on, bring it, young boy. And even afterwards, he dapped him up and said how much he appreciated him. And he said that he was a guy that people should be looking forward to on the way up. And I think all of that is really dope. I think that guy really loves basketball, and you could tell. And
exactly. When they get into the KD shenanigans and all the extra stuff, I'm like, man, at the end of the day, this fool just wants to ball and he wants to play against people who are hardcore about balling. And that's what it felt like. It felt like I trained this guy essentially. Like he came up watching me, and like I'm not mad that he busted my ass. That's what I expect.
Yeah. I love it, man. And Anthony Edwards had a blast beating this guy. He was giving him the DX chops in the one game when he started winning.
He's calling him an old nigga and stuff. I was like, wait, relax though, man. Like,
wait
a minute.
he definitely had a blast. He did the interview afterwards where he was saying, I can't wait to see him during the Olympics so I can gloat again about beating him and send him home. I love that energy, man, because it's got the same thing with this rap thing, man. Look, I'm tired of this buddy stuff, man. I'm here to play basketball. I'm here to beat you, man. Hey, we could be cool after that, but I'm here to beat you. Like, I don't need to team up with you. I'm better than you. I can beat you. I love that energy.
That's what I love too. And to know that a lot of these rappers, a lot of these basketball players, a lot of these wrestlers, how they really feel like, don't be fake, dude. Like you really feel like you're the best. You really feel like you're better than that guy. and it's time
Get
to
to
show
it.
it. Like I love, again, like I'm like Phil too. I love shaking hands. I love praise. I love getting flowers, but I also love the sport.
Yes, I love it. But yeah, a lot of good moments out of that. New York Knicks moved for it last night.
Compelling game. I watched that whole
Very,
thing.
very,
I was
very
like,
good game.
brother, wow.
Putting those whining ass Philadelphia Sixers away. I'm sorry, if there are Sixers fans in this chat, boy, your team is full of a bunch of crybabies, man. They whine about calls constantly. It's also what I don't like about LeBron and his constant whining about calls. That drove me nuts at the end of that Lakers game when he was sitting there whining. I'm like, bro, Jokic has literally not shot a single free throw in this game. How are you complaining about calls? You guys shot almost 20 times as many free throws. You shot 20 more free throws than they did. Cut it out. Stop.
Hey, we should have had 3 more free throws, ref.
Bro, Jokic and Murray shot no free throws for the entire game. These guys are whining about calls at the end of the game. But I digress. New York packed those guys up. Patrick Beverly had a bad day at the office. He hit somebody. He hit somebody.
What's Patrick Beverly doing, Phil?
He hit somebody in the head with a ball, and I was just like, "What are you doing?" And then
the reporter thing.
The poor reporter that was just trying to stand there and hold the mic, and he was really rude to her. That was weird. Like,
so weird. He was being super weird yesterday. I saw the reporter thing, and I was like, "All right, dude, you need to relax." Like, I understand being frustrated, all these things, but like, dude, what are you doing? Like, people that don't. They shouldn't be having stuff taken out on them or getting stuff taken out on them. Like a random reporter, a fan, they don't deserve these things because you're upset.
Yeah, that was weird. But yeah, sent those Milwaukee Bucks home. Can't say that I'm unhappy about that as a longtime Milwaukee Bucks hater, as a longtime hate most things Milwaukee guy. Yeah, get those guys out of here.
I feel you, Phil. But when Dame went over there, I was like, man, maybe this is time. I'm a big Dame Dollar fan.
I want to root for Dame. I like Dame a lot, man. I like Giannis, but Milwaukee's a non-starter for me, buddy.
I get you.
Milwaukee's a non-starter for me. I was very conflicted about the fact that the Indiana Pacers beat them, and it's been kind of for life with the Indiana Pacers since Reggie Miller.
Well, yeah.
And so
see, that one makes a lot more sense for me. I'm like, yeah.
When Indiana was winning, I was like, man, these kids is balling, man. Obi Toppin, man, he looks great. Halliburton still continues to look great. Siakam is that guy, but I was sitting there like, it's the Indiana Pacers, though. It's those team colors. It's everything I know about Indiana. It's just like, But
someone was asking me, I was watching one of the games, and they were like, "Oh, who are you going for?" I was like, "I'm going for the Pacers," because shout out to my homie Jay Rose. I was like, my people of Indiana, they really need this right now. Like, they need this win a lot. So, like, I was like, I hope that they get the victory. So I'm excited that they're advancing to the next round. Shout out to the homie Jay Rose too.
Yeah, shout out to Jay Rose. Reluctantly. Shout out to the Indiana Pacers for their W. I do think that their series with the Knicks is going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a fun series.
Fun.
Brunson against Halliburton sounds like a great series.
Brunson was out there playing. Oh my God, he's on fire pretty much at one point. I'm like, yo,
Brunson scoring like 40 points in like 4 games in a row. Like
what?
Man. He's
like at the end of the game, he's like not sweating. He's just like,
just like, cool, calm demeanor. It never seems to be like frazzled.
Never.
Him and Jamal Murray kill me with that. They're just like,
I'm like, you just played a hard game and you just scored 40, and you're just like, all right, what's up? I'm like, what do you mean, what's up? You just scored 40.
Wild. But he looked great. Josh Hart also looked really good.
Josh Hart was out there balling too.
Yeah, playoffs have been a lot of fun. I think if you are just in it to see certain stars do well, you're probably going to be disappointed. But, man, if you just love good basketball, it's been a lot of really good basketball.
If you love new basketball, and like I said, it's the new generation, if you like some young go-hards, this is for you. This is some straight-up balling.
Yeah, I saw someone say
and
that.
Spinning in basketball format.
Yeah, I saw someone say that the NBA had dropped the ball on making new stars and really promoting certain guys. But basketball, as I knew it, the basketball I grew up on, is that once you get on that national stage, you're not just in front of your local audience. That's your star-making moment. And I feel like that's what Anthony Edwards had this year in the playoffs. He's ascended to that next level because of his performance next to Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I've been seeing him in advertisements. I saw him in a Sprite commercial with Grant Hill. I'm like, oh yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
they're setting him up. Like,
he's
I
he's
feel like
next.
they've at least been trying. You know what I mean? Like, if that person has connected with the crowd on a larger scale, that's kind of been on the player. But I feel like the NBA has tried to make new stars.
They're definitely telling you that Wimpy is going to be a next step as well.
Right.
So it's certain guys they're already getting behind.
Like Giannis could have been it if the rest of the, the team and stuff would have matched up. They were trying to make him into the next guy.
I think about all the time if Durant's foot wasn't on the line,
KD.
it would be a completely different conversation. That guy would have no rings.
Damn.
Giannis would have went home that night if Durant's foot was not on the line. I think about that all the time.
Now he got a ring. He got a movie. Like, he lit.
Yeah. See, we got some more.
And we still got a lot more basketball too, you guys. So strap in.
Yeah. We're still not completely out of the first round yet. We still got Dallas Clippers games
tonight.
Yeah, I think Dallas is probably going to put the Clippers away if I had to guess. Kyrie has turned into Kyrie again, which is
they're balling.
He's out of here.
And then who you got on the Cavs and Magics?
I want to say the Cavs are going to win, but the Magic play really good at home, so I think the Magic are going to win tonight. So it's probably going to go to Game 7, but I think in the end, Cavs are going to win.
And them boys are all over there balling too.
Yeah. Tyrone Kidd said Phil waited until he got out of WrestleMania weekend to put out his ether on Sixers fans. Look, man, I like the city of Philadelphia. I was a big Iverson fan, so I was like an adjacent Sixer fan for a long time. Totally. But man, watching those guys play, watching how much Embiid whines, I'm just like, dude, just play basketball, bro. I don't want to see all this whining and flopping, bro.
Yeah, it is. Feels like a lot of that watching their games. It's unfortunate because they could ball too. Like, I'm like, why don't you just play,
bro? Tyrese Maxey, man. He went crazy last game. He's been incredible, but man, it's just too many guys on that team where I'm just like, man, stop all this whining, man.
Yeah.
Got more Humper chats. Trying to find some more of the rap ones before we move completely on.
And appreciate everybody joining us here. It's a lot of y'all. This is probably like the most people that have watched us at a single time live. I think. So shout out to y'all.
See, we got one from I Make Beats 420. Says, shout out to you guys. Much love. I live in the UK. Stoked to have Backlash at 6 p.m. P.S. Dynamite has some great moments this week. Awesome to have Omega back. Heel Bucks are hilarious. 2024 already been fire in pro wrestling. Peace. He also says, Kendrick is one of the greatest modern lyricists. I was big into Mad City album. P.S. Reg and Denise talking about having sex with cars was funny as fuck. Love y'all. What does that mean?
I was like, Phil's gonna be like, what?
All right.
Let me add some context before you move on, because everybody's probably like, what? Okay, so we were talking on the show, the post show. Darby Allin was on this show on TLC. I think it's called Sex Sent Me to the ER. And in one of the episodes, somebody has sex with the car, and that's why they got sent to the ER. The thing is, like, they have sex with like really weird objects, and so we got into like sex with the car, and it's a lot. Check out the post show with Denise if y'all want to. That's the type of stuff we talk about.
All right.
And shout out to Darby. You saw Darby Allin this week, Phil? Bro got hit by a bus.
Hit by a bus? I was like, bro, I just feel like some higher power in the universe is really telling this guy, sit your ass down for a while, bro. It's cool. It's cool, man. You've done enough. Just sit down.
I swear, like, I've had those moments where I'm doing too much, and then like my mom will be like, just sit, like, relax, you're doing too much. That's what it feels like for Darby Allin. It's like somebody saying, you're doing too much, bro. Sit down, relax. Like, he was about to go to Mount Everest. A higher power said, nope, no, you're not. Hurt his foot, so he couldn't. And then he gets hit by a bus. Somebody's telling him to sit down and just chill. It's crazy. But shout out to Darby Allin. Hopefully he recovers soon. That's insane.
I just went to Twitter to see what is this D'Lo Darby Ham thing. and soon as I picked up Twitter, there is a picture of a back-to-back album cover, and if you can see that, the back-to-back album cover has Teddy Pendergrass and Al Green. Kendrick Lamar, ladies and gentlemen. Just
Teddy
wow.
P, Euphoria, Al Green on the 616. It's too surgical, man. It's too much. You can't be in the ring with somebody that thinks like that.
Wow. Wrestling.
Wrestling.
Let's get into something light before we hop into some of the big topics. We had the WWE Draft concluding this week on Monday Night Raw. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was in and out for Raw this week. Wasn't really holding my attention.
Phil, I'm at a. It's weird because like post WrestleMania, they've been putting on some fun, electrifying shows, but these draft shows, what?
Yeah, I mean, the draft just didn't really do anything new or different. I like the presentation of the draft. We talked about that last week, but nobody really
no
moved.
Surprises at all. The whole time I'm like, this person, I'm like, Gunther's going to be first on Raw. Like everything was so predictable.
Nobody really moved. A lot of the stuff was predictable. There was no big, like, game-changing draft pick. It just all kind of felt predictable.
It felt like a lot of the times it feels like it's just that time. WWE gets in the cycle of like, oh, it's May, we got to do this. Oh, it's October, we got to do this. But this is the most I've ever felt after the draft. Like they just did a draft just to do a draft. Like they didn't even, you know what I mean? It's like they felt like they had to, but they didn't do anything here.
Yeah. So the first round we got Imperium was the number 1 pick for Raw. Gunther and Ludwig, not Giovanni Vinci. He has been drafted to SmackDown because apparently he has been kicked out of Imperium.
Bro's a hooper though, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, no, he's great. Loved him as Fabian Eichner. Of course, he was in the Cruiserweight Classic. He was dope on NXT as well. Now he's great. Jay Cargill went second in the first round, so she was also a first round pick along with Bianca Belair.
Pretty hard.
That was cool to see. To nobody's surprise, she's still on SmackDown. It would have made no sense for her to spend all that time talking about where am I going to go and then signing with SmackDown and then weeks later get drafted to Raw. That would have made
they did
sense.
that with Braun Breaker, pretty much.
They did. Let's see. Damage Control went next to Raw. I think that is more proof of how successful Damage Control has been as a stable. The fact that they're a first round pick. Kevin Owens is staying put on SmackDown. CM Punk went in the second round. Having the iShow Speed guy be the guy that announced that. It's like some of the celebrities and stuff with the draft, it just kind of felt like, well, look who's here to announce this draft pick. And it was just like, okay, cool, I guess.
All right. Oh, yeah.
I kind of just want to see some wrestling, but all right. Pride is staying put on SmackDown. Braun Strowman made a surprise return. He is going to be a Raw superstar. Tiffany Stratton, again, to nobody's surprise, is staying on SmackDown because she just started a feud with the champion on SmackDown.
Maybe don't start the feuds before we do the draft, you know?
Yeah. LWO will be making a move to Raw, which I think is a good thing because you're immediately getting them away from Legado del Fantasma. And so those guys are staying.
Getting them back in with Dominic, which is
Dominic's injured, right?
Oh,
so, I think he's injured for like the next 6 or 8 weeks or something like that.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, celebrities galore. Patrick Mahomes was there. Logan Paul was there. It seemed like they were trying to get all of the, hey, look at that celebrity, and I just don't know if it moved the needle the way they wanted to.
If maybe there was some surprise pick, something interesting in there, it could have helped. I thought the NXT stuff was pretty good, like the superstars that got to get drafted over to the quote unquote main roster, I guess other roster at this point. Their reactions, how they had it in the arena that they have NXT in. I thought all that stuff was good at least.
Yeah. Nakamura, the last guy picked in the third round. He is moving to SmackDown. Judgment Day is staying put on Raw. Of course, Naomi also staying put on SmackDown because she is in a title feud. A lot of that stuff that's predictable. But the real big thing from the 5th round is Lyra Valkyrie is moving up to Raw from NXT, former NXT Women's Champion. It makes sense for her to move up because now she's on the same brand as Becky. I assume they're going to go back to the stuff that they started with Becky when Becky was in NXT. Maybe she's going to get a title shot. I don't know. I think Raw is a good spot for her.
Yeah, they need some heels over in that Raw women's division, so I think this is a good move here.
Yeah. I kind of wish they would just let her go by Valkyrie again because her name just seems like overly complicated for no reason. But that's a minor grab. I like her a lot. Yeah, I like her a lot. So I'm glad that she got the call up. Final Testament is moving to Raw as well.
Cool.
I just don't know what the ceiling is on that stable. I hope to be wrong about that. I really like AOP. I really like Paul Ellering as their manager. But just
how you feel about Karrion Kross?
I think Karrion Kross can be good. I enjoyed him as Killer Kross more than I did as Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish he would just go back to doing something like that without all of the mystical, creepy, spooky dooky stuff. Just go back to just being a guy that like is really tough and can beat people up. I don't know. I was fine with that.
Like what happened to the presentation he came into the NXT with? Why didn't they put the helmet on him and they were like, we forgot about who this guy is. Like it was weird.
Yeah.
Final Testament. I mean, with how many stables and things they have on Raw, it could work out for them, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the ceiling is with that and where you go. DIY is moving to SmackDown. I think that's a
good move for them.
I think that's a good spot for them with just how stacked that tag division is on SmackDown.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that can
New Catch Republic. Yeah, there's some good stuff over there.
Yeah, Street Profits. There's a lot of guys that they could work over there. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, if they stay together. They did tease Tommaso possibly turning heel, and I think that's the wrong move. I think they should keep them a tag team for now. Yes. Blair Davenport.
But also, Tommaso as a heel might not be the worst.
No, but then I also have to buy into them actually doing things with Gargano as a singles wrestler, and I don't really buy it just now. I just think just use them as a tag team for now, and you can still have that in your back pocket for later.
Agreed.
Blair Davenport is moving up to SmackDown. Of course, Blair Davenport used to be Bea Priestley. Then she came over to NXT UK and had to run as Blair Davenport. I didn't watch a lot of NXT 2.0, so I didn't see a lot of what she did there. I did see she was in a match with Meiko Satomura and Mandy. Where is Meiko Satomura? I keep thinking this every time I think like NXT UK stuff.
That is a great question. Where is she? Huh.
Yeah, that basically rounds out the draft on TV. We got social media picks. Apollo Crews is coming to SmackDown. As I said earlier, Giovanni Vinci is moving to SmackDown. Tegan Nox is moving to SmackDown. Natalya is moving to Raw. I think she was on SmackDown, right? Yes. Caden Carter and Katana Chance are moving to Raw. Odyssey Jones is staying put on Raw.
Wait, they weren't already on Katana and Caden? They were already on Raw, weren't they?
I think they were on SmackDown, weren't they? I think. Odyssey Jones is staying put on Raw.
Odyssey Jones?
Yeah. When is this guy going to wrestle?
Where's he been?
I don't know. Dijak is coming up to the main roster, and he's on Raw. I think that's great for him. Hopefully
he's going to be good on Raw too. I think I like him on Raw better than I like him on SmackDown.
Yeah, I think he makes a lot of sense for somebody that you can slot into the Intercontinental title picture. I think there are a lot of really good matchups for him on Raw.
Him and Sami Zayn is like a hitter, big hitter.
Yeah. Julius, the Creed brothers, and Ivy Nile are staying put on Raw, which makes sense because I assume they're eventually going to team them up with young Chad Gable.
Yep.
And to round out the Raw, the Raw side of the draft, New Catch Republic is moving to Raw. So,
damn it! I wanted them to stay on SmackDown.
So scratch what I said earlier about a good matchup for DIY because those guys are not there anymore.
Okay, wait. Who are the Raw tag teams now? Them, Imperium. Well, no, Imperium doesn't count as a tag team anymore.
They're They don't have a tag team anymore.
The tag
So
champ.
the champions, Miz and Truth. I guess. Do you still count Judgment Day? Balor.
Yeah, I guess they'll be teaming up a lot. I'm assuming.
Yeah. Who else is on Raw that is in a tag team? New Day.
New Day's over there.
SmackDown has more tag teams at the moment.
They do.
But that's probably why they moved New Catch Republic. Now that I think about it, they could help bolster that tag division.
And then they moved over Final Testament. That means AOP's over there too.
Yeah,
so they're trying to help Raw.
Yeah, so you still got the Creeds. You got
Creeds. Yeah,
you got the Creeds are on Raw. AOP.
Oh, they need to. Why aren't Creeds the champions? I guess they're on their way. Every time I see Miz and Truth, I'm like, I get it, you guys, but like, let's move on. I think.
Yeah. AOP of course is there, of course. So yeah, no, it's a solid.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's not too bad.
But yeah, it was from what I saw of the episode of Raw, it seemed like they were trying to wrap up all of their little loose ends. Like they wrapped up some of the stuff with Nia and Liv. That was cool. Yeah. Liv came and had the confrontation with Becky, which was fine. I thought the Drew and Punk stuff was really good. Having Punk come out and he's standing up in the boxes talking to him, and so then Drew runs up there, and then he's down there. He's in the ring now. I just think everything him and Drew are doing really good. I hope that the matches live up to how good the feud has been on social media and the promos.
That's kind of the issue you run into with this, because like it's great that CM Punk has still been present. He's injured, but like he's consistently on TV every week. It's like you're going to continuously build this, and we're going to be at a super hot point once it gets to the match, and we just hope that the match it lives up to the expectations built on all these weeks of development. But the weeks of development have been great. I think that pairing them together has been awesome, and Drew has been doing some of the best work of his career in this.
Yeah. We also got the news that Drew has resigned. We got a very strange IG post from The Rock where he presented him with the gift, and they're like having dinner. He comes and brings the big Claymore sword in, and
what's up with your boy The Rock?
He's still doing the social media promotion stuff for he's definitely got skin in the game now as a board of as one of the members of the board of directors. So
I saw he gave some extreme Terramana to them.
Extreme Terramana
to the Gallus boys. Is that their name? To them boys for helping him out with his WrestleMania thing. I'm like, yes. You gave them guys helped you out, and you gave them some tequila, some pre-tequila that you whatever. The other story this week, did you see that? Your boy on set making people wait for a really long time and then handing them cups of pee.
I did see that. I didn't know what to make of that. He's apparently peeing in bottles.
What's going on with your boy?
I don't know. I don't know what to make of that, man. Very weird story. The timing of it was very strange.
The Rock is really being The Rock. I like it on TV, dude, but you can relax, I think.
Yeah, very strange. But yeah, Drew McIntyre's re-signed. I'm not too surprised by that. I figured.
Did I just see a story that your boy resigned?
Seth Rollins did resign. Finn Balor also resigned. There was word at one point that his contract was coming up. But yeah, if you follow that timetable of them getting rid of their talent relations guys, and then all of a sudden all of these guys one by one started getting contracts.
I expect big names.
Yeah, I expect the news soon that Becky will resign as well, especially now that Seth Rollins has resigned.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think that was definitely part of it. I think one of this felt like somebody fell asleep at the wheel, that a lot of these contracts were coming up, and it felt like somebody walked in the room like, hey, why didn't I know this contract was coming up? Isn't this your job? And then all of a sudden that guy was gone.
They're like, wait, Drew contract is up, Seth's contract is up. They're going through all this. So like, wait, something is going on here. We got to deal with it. And now that person is gone, and all these people have new contracts. So
yeah, we also got the
for them too, because I'm sure that they're big money contracts.
Absolutely, I'm sure the Drew and Seth Rollins contract were both big contracts,
big boys.
We also got the news this morning that the COO of WWE stepped down. I don't know what that means. You didn't see that?
I did not see this.
He stepped down this morning. I think he was among the most powerful executives in the company, right along with Nick Khan and, of course, Paul Levesque. I don't know what that means. I don't know. It wasn't like he was fired. It seemed like he just stepped down of his own fruition. So,
whoa,
I don't know.
Spooky.
But
All
yeah,
the stuff like coming out this week of the contract stuff has been so interesting because there's that story that came out of McMahon giving up his shares or whatever, and then apparently Nick Khan gave up his shares. But then Brandon Thurston was like, some of this is not true, or some of this has been ported wrong or in a different way. And now all their big stars are getting big contract. I'm like, money is moving weird over there, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, you've got the pay-per-view coming up this weekend. I think that's probably a good time to get into it because it's not a long card. We can run through it. It's only 5 matches.
I was about to be like, what happened? But SmackDown is tonight. I forgot we are recording on Friday. I'm like, what happened on SmackDown? We haven't got SmackDown yet.
Yeah, hasn't happened yet. But yeah, let me just get the card in front of me. It's only
you
5
saw that
cards.
video of the main event of this. AJ Styles put out a video this week, or they put out a video of AJ Styles, and they're like, AJ Styles has just been naturally gaining. I'm like, naturally, all right. You guys may be like,
I don't want none.
They're like, his new pre-workout. I'm like, that's what y'all are calling it now, pre-workout?
Him in that pool of cold water, and he got out, and he's like, that's how it feels when you get out.
Yeah, I'm like, that we're calling that pre-workout now. I don't think that's what kind of pre-workout are you using, big bro?
Yeah, nah. He did the thing people do on Twitter when they're excited about something. Rah! That's definitely what it felt like he was doing. Rah! But yeah, Backlash will be taking place tomorrow at I believe it's 12:30 Eastern time. In the afternoon. Never going to be too mad about afternoon pay-per-views. You get to watch some wrestling and then go on with the rest of your day. And it's a very short card. So hopefully,
like too short, maybe. Shout out to too short.
Hopefully that means that these are all winners. These are all great matches. Hopefully, we got, and actually these are all but one is a title match. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens will be taking on the New Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, and new member Tama Tonga in a tag match. I have to assume the Bloodline are going to win this, right?
I'm thinking my homeboy might be out in Paris. Wait, can my homeboy get to Paris?
Every
time they start talking about my homeboy, I'm like,
yeah,
I go everywhere.
I think this would be a cool place to debut Jacob Fatu. I think just with what you set up with Backlash over the last 2 years of it being like the international show, and then you having like a big surprise like this for the France audience, I think that'd be cool.
I'm just like, can my brother get over there? I don't know if he can with this past. I think that this is going to be. I'm interested to see Tama Tonga and how him and Solo work together in this match. I think they have some really good opponents to work against. Well, when a good opponent, I'm chill.
I'm that Randy guy.
I'm good.
Yeah, no. I have to assume that's probably going to be the opening match, if I had to guess. Also,
we might actually find out the answer to where's Jacob, Phil. So
yeah,
I know you're excited.
Where's Jacob? Got a women's tag title match. The Kabuki Warriors will be taking on 2 members of the Big Three, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. I have to assume that Bianca and Jade are winning here and moving on against the new women's tag champions.
There's a clip of Righteous Reg somewhere in the world in the last 2 years on Grapsody saying, when Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair are tag team champions, the world will rejoice. Just pull it up, whoever's into that stuff, because I know I said it. But I knew this moment was coming from the moment that Jade Cargill debuted in AEW, which is wild. Yes. Like the moment that she debuted over there, I was like, oh, when she becomes tag team champions with Bianca Belair, it's just going to be crazy. We're finally getting that moment. I don't expect anything otherwise. They have been promoting these women. They look great. Their matches have been awesome. They're on house show loops together. Like it's
Yeah.
all there. Writing's on the wall.
Doing all the little cool spots where they do that kip up and then they do the big three pose, and they've been like doing all of these like cool tag team moves. I expect this to be a good match. I definitely feel like them winning the championship. If I bring this thing full circle and make a little bit of symmetry here, because they're not calling themselves the big three for no reason. There's definitely an allusion to this rap beef.
Phil,
and I
how
think
like
they're doing that on purpose.
I don't understand how we got here. Like how did these things coincide together so perfectly? Where these three women get together while this hip hop beef with these three
they're tapped into the
rappers are
culture.
going
That's
on.
why. I mean, we see that, and so
Yeah.
but yeah, there's no way that this is not an allusion to Cole, Drake, and your boy Kendrick.
I can't see it. If it is, I don't care. This is what I'm thinking.
That's definitely what it seems like. And if we're on the counter, I think the WrestleMania match was the Buried Alive interlude. I think them winning the titles is we're in poetic justice mode, and I think eventually something is gonna happen to split them up, because now we have the picture. We have the WrestleMania stare down. We have stuff that was said in interviews that looked away. We have all of these other things getting up to this point, so that when Jay does turn on this woman, which I do believe is gonna happen,
Totally.
you're now gonna have the long-term storytelling to go along with it. But I think getting a tag title run out of it is not a bad idea. I think that it's a good way to acclimate Jade into the schedule, and I think it's a good way to put her next to somebody like Bianca that can eventually have the big match.
Totally. That means she get to learn in matches, be in the ring, get the feeling of Bianca, all the things. Do you think that I think exactly what you're saying is going to happen too? Do you think we could possibly get that match as soon as SummerSlam, or do you think they're going to wait to do the big one-on-one match?
I think that's a WrestleMania match. If I had to guess.
1000%. I agree. I'm just saying, like, we might get right to it, but definitely a WrestleMania match. But my thing is, like, I'm going to say this every time we talk about Bianca and WrestleMania, like the Rhea match is like there forever. Like, like timetable. I'm like, there's not going to be, you got to start getting to it with these matches because like time and stuff. So like, I think it's just a really exciting time. But yeah, they're going to become the tag team champions. That's dope.
Let's see. Lab Glass is asking, is Naomi Drake? No. In the way that I figured this out, the first person that's gonna catch feelings and stray away is Jade. That makes Jade Drake.
Yeah.
That makes Bianca Kendrick. The person that's the mediator in this that just wants everybody to get along is Naomi, making Naomi Cole.
I think that's the best description, because I feel like Naomi and Cole have the same thing. Like, she hasn't got her just due, J. Cole. She deserves so much more throughout her career, and she always feels like she wants to keep the peace. Like, this makes sense.
Yeah, maybe by SummerSlam, but knowing this company and knowing that they probably want to save that for a big stage, I'm gonna assume WrestleMania.
Totally. But Jade's definitely going to be the one. Jade has to be heel, you guys. Like, I love it. The smiling, clapping hands and shit, but like heel Jade is where it's at.
Yes, absolutely. I'm ready for her to talk her shit, to get her catchphrases off. Yeah. Heel Jade is absolutely the way to go. I thought the same thing with watching Deanna this week. I'm like, nah, heel virtuoso it just hit different, man.
Yeah, heel Deanna's way different. It's like, oh, this is like, she's great as a baby face, like in the ring, everything. But when she's heel, it's like, this is what it's in. That's what we want.
Yeah, it just hits different. We've got Damian Priest defending the World Heavyweight Championship against main event Jey Uso. Very curious to see how this match is going to work. Very curious to see their chemistry together. Pretty predictable outcome, though. I don't think that Damian Priest will be losing here. This seems like a way to get him a win on his belt and get somebody that is incredibly over in Jey Uso, so he can get some heat on beating him.
Yeah, same thing that you're saying. I'm super interested to see the chemistry that these guys have. They've interacted in matches before, they've had stuff, but like a main event one-on-one, Priest is the champion, the game's on the line. Look, I love me some Jey Uso, but the one-on-one matches aren't the greatest. Like, And like we've discussed on here, since he's become the Yeet Man, they've become even more kind of. So I'm interested to see Yeet. I'm interested to see how they collaborate together. But Phil, they gotta send my man. They didn't send my man Jay over back to SmackDown, but they got to get these Uso brothers back together. Like, I feel you. We did it. Main event. Guys still insanely over. But let's just add Jimmy to that then.
Yeah. I think Jay has had good singles matches. I just think people currently have the bad taste in their mouth for the WrestleMania match. But he's had good singles matches.
Definitely. I think he can work. But since he became the Yeet guy, I'm not that interested. But imagine all the tag teams we talked about plus the Usos.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I just want the Usos back together.
That's it. That's all I'm really getting to.
But yeah, and it's worked. It's done what it's supposed to do for Jay.
I think they both have gotten more over as singles guys. That's the thing. But
they've benefited a lot as singles guys. Like they now have distinct characters.
But like now I can really tell them apart. Like even when I watch old footage, I'm like, oh, this guy is this guy. Like so, like what they worked for to get us to distinguish the two of them. Definitely hit it out of the park. But yeah, I think Damian Priest, if Priest were to lose this, that'd be super weird here. So I think that Damian Priest is going to go over.
I don't see any world where he loses here.
Could you imagine if they did all that with Jay and there was a time that they felt like Jay could, all of us felt like Jay could beat Roman and he just beats Damian Priest here.
I never felt like he was going to beat Roman.
Yeah. Some of these people had convinced me for a little bit. I was like, hey, maybe Jay's going to be the one. I don't think he should be the one at all, but
I never believed.
Right.
Never.
And you don't think he could hold this belt either?
No, I don't think it makes sense to do all that stuff with Roman and then have him beat somebody else.
Right.
I think if you were going to have him win a big title, it made more sense for him to beat Gunther.
True.
But no. Especially now that Damian just won that belt. This is his first title defense. I don't see it happening.
Right.
We got Bayley taking on Naomi and Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. I think this could be a very fun match. Very curious to see how Tiffany Stratton works in this environment. Of course, she got the monstrous reaction in Australia. Very curious to see how that holds up in another international market. I'm very curious to see what the atmosphere for this match is in general. I think that last year, the Puerto Rican crowd did a lot for Backlash. I feel like it elevated Backlash past that level of just being a B-level pay-per-view, and it made it a memorable show. Backlash was one of their best shows last year, easily.
I mean, that Bad Bunny entrance is still that's iconic. Here. You know what I mean? Like, that's forever.
Yeah, so very curious to see how that pans out this time around. I know they've got other international shows coming up. They've got Clash at the Castle, and then they've got the Berlin show as well. So very curious to see what this France crowd sounds like.
This looking at this card, Phil, this has potential to be the best match of the night, honestly. If these three women get time and they get some creative and interesting spots, like they could take this as the match of the night. These women are motivated. I saw someone was like, they have posters and Bayley's champion. They still aren't featuring Bayley. Bayley is still in the same position. And it's like, what are you guys doing, dude? Like, do you still not understand who you have in Bayley? It's really an unfortunate situation. But I think if these women are given the time and opportunity, it could be match of the night. I'm excited about this one. And I think the crowd's going to enhance this one specifically.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that it's not like they just did this big three thing and made allusions to the rap thing, but they also are treating them like that because both of them are coming into this pay-per-view right after WrestleMania and getting titles matches. So I think that's cool. I don't think that Naomi's going to win here, but I really like that she's in the title picture again because I hated when she first came back. It was kind of like they were doing everything to keep her out of either of the main title pictures. So, great that she looks like a contender again.
She's there. Do you think that Tiffany Stratton can pull it out tonight or tomorrow?
I don't. I think Bayley's going to retain.
Yes, I think Bayley needs to retain. I prefer her to retain, but I do like the momentum that Stratton has, and I think that they should give Naomi a couple of them we haven't seen spots in this match to get her more over too. This match is going to be fun, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. I think we're kind of in agreement though. Bayley's probably going to retain.
Bayley's got
pretty predictable. we've got for the final match, kind of a dream first time match.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes will be defending the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. I don't know what this is called anymore.
Me neither.
But he's going to be defending the Undisputed WWE Championship against phenomenal AJ Styles. This is one of those matches that we've wanted for a long time because they kind of miss each other everywhere they go. They've been in the same places, in the same stable, but never at the same time. And so once Cody finally made it to WWE and AJ Styles was there, it's like, all right, get to this match. And so it's cool that it's happening on this big stage. I also like that AJ has a lot of bragging rights coming into this pay-per-view and into this stage because he can say that I was the first person to come to an international show and win the WWE Championship because he beat Jinder for the championship. Backlash is also the pay-per-view where he won his first WWE Championship against Dean Ambrose. So I really like that. I really like the idea that he can come in and say, yeah, you've been trying to get here all this time. You've been trying to get this title all this time, but you're late. I've already been here. I've held that title twice. I've been a champion for a full year. I'm already that guy.
I love the kind of parallels that they're running, but AJ being like, I kind of been to all the places that you've been and done better than you, or I could go to the places that you've been and do better than you. This match feels like a 2003 NWA TNA main event, and I love it. I think that makes it extra like the crowd's going to be the most intriguing for this match because it's going to be like a Southern fucking main event with two Southern in France. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they're going to be expecting this. So I'm very intrigued to see how this whole thing goes. AJ Styles, I think, is, I've said before, the perfect opponent for Cody Rhodes in this position, especially with how they've been talking about Cody's reign so far. Phil, how dumb have everybody been? The Sharks have been jumped on Cody and Swerve. We'll get into that too, of people being like, it's over. I'm like, dude, it's not over. Nothing's happened yet.
It just started, bro. It's not. We haven't seen anything yet.
Like, and you can't. And what WWE has done with like the draft shows, like they've done so much. Like, I don't want to say filler, but like you can't put that on like Cody's reign in this point.
He hasn't even had his first feud yet. Like this is like his first big title defense, but he hasn't had a big feud yet. So I don't think you can really judge his reign yet. I think that this is going to be the best match on the card, just because of both of these guys attached to it.
Feels like they're going to get time with only 5 matches on the card.
Yeah, AJ seems more motivated than he's been in a long time. He's in incredible shape. So I think this is going to be a great match. I think Cody's going to retain, but I don't think he's done with AJ. I do think this feud is going to continue after this because they have so much more material between them. Totally. They have so much more history to mine. I would kind of hate it if they just did this one-off match and then Cody moved on to something else. I feel like this could easily be like his feud for the next month or so.
Yeah, I don't believe this is going to be a one and done. I feel like they're going to have a big American one-on-one main event at this point, you know, in front of an American crowd, with this being their first big main event. This match is it has potential to be the match of the night too. I think that Cody Rhodes has a lot to prove, even though he doesn't really, has a lot to prove as world champion. Coming out the gate with AJ Styles is one of the best dance partners to have. AJ Styles is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. People very recently in the news have been saying that. Undertaker has said pretty much he wish he had a match with him. Like, this guy is the guy. And so he should be in this position. There's going to be an international crowd. They're always super hot. Like, this could be fun.
Yeah. Very much looking forward to it. Looking forward to a quick, easy peasy pay-per-view to start the day tomorrow. Then we can get on and have a fun time talking about it with Denise.
Yep.
Should be a blast.
Y'all check that out tomorrow. We're going to be on here post-show.
I'm sure we have more Humper Chats. Have your Humper Chats again. humperchats.com/Fightful is the place to send them.
Oh yeah, we got super chats too. I have to read this one more rap one from our friend Aaron Busby. Just to let y'all know, with a tear in my eye, this is one of the greatest moments of my life. West, y'all. The victory lap that our friend Aaron Busby has been on for the last week has been phenomenal. I'm sure that his phone is like, stop playing this song, leave me alone, quit playing Euphoria on here. But as the biggest Drake hater we know, he's been jumping up for joy every single day.
Yeah, I was when Kendrick said he was his biggest hater on that record. I was like, "You sure? It might be a
Yeah,
guy on
you
the
got some
internet
competition.
that might have you beat on that one."
Shout out to Busby though, that's hilarious. Jana says Drew Punk doesn't need the World Heavyweight Championship, but I think it should. Priest is not a marquee name, had 3 top stars in the picture, and now they're not. I think it's a disservice to the World Heavyweight Championship, and it still needs the elevation.
No, I don't think Punk Drew needs the title. I think that's a big enough match that it sells itself. I don't think it hurts to give somebody like Priest the belt for now, but I don't think anybody expects him to hold it for a long time. But you put yourself in a corner because he had the briefcase for all that time. You had to have some kind of payoff to that, and it wouldn't have made sense with everything you were doing, especially tying it back to Drew and the stuff with Drew between Drew and Judgment Day. It made sense for him to cash in the way he did. It also made sense for Drew to get his comeuppance in the moment that he did. Also, Drew wasn't signed at the time.
Right.
I think, by the end of this year, Drew will probably be champion. I also foresee a world where Gunther is holding that belt very soon as well.
See, that's the thing. Is like we're between a rock and a hard place because I feel like there's a couple people that should be in the running. Like Drew, I'm thinking like they should immediately get it back on. They should immediately get it back on the Drew here pretty soon and let him be the top heel champion throughout the summer. But then Gunther's like, he can't just sit there. Like I'm guessing they're gonna try to put this King of the Ring on him to try to sway it away. But it's gonna be like just the same situation as Ospreay and AEW. Is like, people are gonna force you to want to make this guy world champion, or at least have him in the running.
Yeah.
Like you can't have feuds and then he's just on the side here because people are gonna be like, well, what about him?
Yeah. I'm sure they'll figure it out. But yeah, the legacy that Rollins created with that belt, that it's the belt for the workhorse guy, not the Hollywood guy, not the biggest star in the company. It's for this guy to make a name for themselves. It makes sense. It makes sense for Drew to have it, but also makes even more sense for Gunther to eventually be the guy that is the ultimate workhorse for the company that's having the big matches.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't know. I think Drew's gonna bring it to prominence with like promos and character work and all that. But like, if you want this to be the workhorse belt, put that shit on Gunther and let him beat everybody's ass.
Yeah. I still really like a world where Sammy eventually wins that belt as well.
He's got to at some point, somewhere. From who? I don't know. He could be the one to win too. That's what I'm saying. Like, I guess that's a good thing to have. They got contenders. They got people that are believable, but I don't know how long Priest is gonna last as champion. Nothing against Priest. He had the great moment. He had the stuff. Like, I think he's in a good position, but there's some stuff. Lab Glass says, a Friday Graps, what a great day. Yeah, we've been having fun over here. RJ Suburb said, would love a permanent move.
That's funny.
He says, would love a permanent move to Fridays. Rush hour traffic is much easier here in Dublin listening to you guys.
Yeah, appreciate you.
That's amazing. Dublin, long, far away. Thanks for taking us on your commutes, you guys. That's amazing. Fridays, I don't know. It's just we doing what we doing. Caleb Cassidy says, feel bad for Drake now. Big Cooch, best bout machine.
Big Cooch.
Big Cooch. We're gonna get into it. Jerome Walker says, what are your thoughts on the Rikishi diss track? I still haven't heard the Rikishi diss track.
It's really funny, man. I laughed very hard when I was listening to it. I enjoyed it.
Oh my god. Our friend D'Lo Diggs says, turning up on the honeymoon. Y'all be blessed on the honeymoon. D'Lo, shout out to you and your bride. Hope y'all are having a great time.
Congratulations, bro.
Yeah. D'Lo also says the second round of the NBA playoffs should be fun. A lot of fun.
Very much looking forward to Denver versus Minnesota. I think that's going to be a great series.
Mm-hmm. The homie Will Chisholm says, big up to your boy Seth Rollins for getting the big new money deal, the real MVP of WrestleMania.
Listen, man, sometimes hard work pays off, man.
It's true.
Every now and then.
No, bro knew what time. He like, I'm about to do this all for y'all. I'm about to main event. My knee's fucked up. I'm going to work for y'all. Y'all better give me that fucking money. And that's exactly what happened. EP Style says, going to Double or Nothing this year. Never been more excited. Much needed after the Lakers' first round exit. Grapsody is the best weekly show. Forget the draft. Appreciate you. I'm going to be in Las Vegas, so definitely find me. Definitely say what's up.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. All you some of you Lakers fans, you just set your hopes too high, man. You got to get like me as a Bulls fan. Like, look, I've won. I've had my time in the sun, but I knew when we made the play in, I was like, there's a very good chance that we're not going to win anything. And so when we didn't, I was like,
Phil, look, my
cool.
team has 4 rings. Are there Lakers fans that went into the season thinking that they were going to win? Like, seriously.
No, there were definitely Lakers fans that were telling me that Denver was the only team in the conference they couldn't beat. They could beat most of the rest of the conference. I was like,
That's
boy,
not
you
true.
guys are delusional, man.
That is not true at all.
Oh my God.
Like I knew my team was gonna have turmoil. I'm like, we're not gonna no chip this year. That's a lot going on. But there's some delusional people in the world that, think otherwise.
Yeah. Now Chuck had been trying to warn you guys this was coming all season. I don't know why you guys wouldn't listen to him.
Sick. That's all of our super chats for now. Appreciate y'all.
I'm pretty sure we have a bunch of humper chats to get into. Got a few more topics. Before I do that, before I forget, let's hit a word from our sponsor, and then we're going to get into the rest of these humper chats and our last 2 topics.
Yeah.
What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful, here to tell you about BetOnline AG. The highest credit card acceptance industry-wide, 25-plus year track record, safe and secure online environments, payouts in minutes, the fastest in the industry. You can bet big with their high limits and rebet functionality, the earliest line, so odds open before the competition, the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit, and we're talking on everything. Wrestling, they got it. MMA, they got it. Boxing, they got it. But hey, you know what? I know we're Fightful. We don't just live for that. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, racing, esports, anything you can think of. Not only that, this is exclusively where Fightful gets our lines from. If you hear us talking about lines on a prediction show or on our post shows, it is always from BetOnline AG. Please bet responsibly and only bet what you can. BetOnline.ag.
Please bet responsibly, everyone. But for all your betting needs, including wrestling, a lot of sports books do not include wrestling. BetOnline.ag is your place to go.
You made some money this week?
I did not. I have a funny story about that I cannot tell here.
I definitely would like to hear it after the pod. Thank you very much.
It's a very funny story. Let's get into some of these humper chats. We got more from Tony P. He says Swerve Claudio was a burner last week and kicked off this week with
collision.
Papa Cage as his opponent. Even with a short build to Double or Nothing, it's great to see they use the past history to play into the feud, so it wouldn't feel random. I think that's what you meant. Overall, Double or Nothing is shaping up nicely. Yeah, I think the stuff they're doing with Swerve is great. I think if you didn't catch it when he came out and did the promo to open Collision, when he talked about, seeing his daughter and how he hadn't been there as a dad, I was like, oh, they're planting the seeds for a certain guy to be his first opponent. And so it's cool to see that got paid off. I really like the way that they played it up and made us think that this guy that's made most of this time as a heel being a talker was going to come out there and monologue. And he didn't. He put the mic to his mouth and then immediately started beating Swerve down with the mic. And then the numbers game eventually got to him. It's almost everything that Swerve did to Hangman in his first promo with him. It's like all of these things that he did as a heel came back to bite him in the ass in his first week as champion. I really like that.
Yeah. Them playing off those things immediately, planting seeds and kind of immediately getting to it was really dope. And I thought I saw a lot of people this week when they announced that who Swerve opponent was going to be. A lot of people were saying Christian Cage anyway, so it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people that wanted it to be Jack. Jack made sense as well.
I thought that's why I wanted it to be.
But if you're putting him against the top heel in the company, I think it's Christian, isn't it?
I would think so. I mean, as far as on the mic and what most AEW fans would lay out, I would think Christian's probably the top heel right now since Max is gone.
Yeah, I feel like the Elite as a faction are getting to the point where they're the top heel act in the company, but like
Totally.
the top singles guy as a heel right now is probably Christian.
Mm-hmm. Where you at, Max?
Yeah, Max is not on TV, but yeah,
that's your spot, Max.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Max could easily come back and take that crown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the fact that we got 2 matches out the gate, giving him the promo after the lead-in from the playoffs, which seemed like it did really well. I thought the numbers at one point said it was like around 1 million something viewers, right?
Yeah, it was. I think they came in with 1 million point something. It was a great lead, and I was actually outside at a place while when the show was starting, because basketball's playing everywhere. So at one point, all these screens are showing Swerve. So I'm like, oh, look, not for nothing, that's happening right now, and that's a lot of new eyes on the new world champion, which is good.
Yeah, I thought he did well with the first promo. I thought he cemented himself as a babyface in his role. I thought doing the open challenge and then immediately having a match with Claudio to main event. I believe this is only the second time an AEW World Champion has main evented Collision, right? If we're not counting the real World Champion. But I believe this is the first because, of course, we got the Kenny Omega MJF match. I think this is the first time that we got a AEW World title match. Well, second time, sorry. Second time we got a AEW World title match on Collision.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, and the match was incredible. I expect no less with Claudio and Swerve, but that match was very, very good. If you did not watch it, go out of your way to check that out.
Yeah, I think Swerve coming out the gate with the matches being kind of different than what the last couple world champions has been is a great way to do it. And starting out with the match like that with Claudio, the whole Collision was fire, by the way, if you guys haven't seen Collision from last week. But because that Ray Phoenix and God, that match was insane. But Claudio and Swerve, I think Claudio is one of the best bases in professional wrestling. Like the way that he can get into positions and be in places is insane. And so I knew a match with Swerve out the gate was going to be great, but this match was just a great technical masterpiece, man. Like the best qualities of Claudio put with world champion swag of Swerve, like those two elements just hit really hard.
That catch into that pop-up European uppercut, man, that was crazy.
Like, how does he catch a full-grown man? It's crazy.
Like, I mean, just the angle that he was coming down with the stomp and just being able to do that, like, that was crazy.
Insane.
Really, really good match. Really cool to see grizzled young veterans on Collision as well. I continue to say the Acclaimed are just better as a tag team, and they proved it in that match. I hope that we get more of them as a tag team moving forward.
That match reminded me, like I've known that, of course, with that as a tag team, they are much better. No offense to Billy Gunn, but I just think like it just kind of overshadows what they've done. This match reminded me of what they could do as a tag team. Reminded me of the match that people felt that they should have called an audible on. Like, what was the reason that they felt that they should have called an audible? Oh, because when these guys cook, they are on a different level. And so just let these guys go and do that. Seeing the Grizzly Young Vets there, amazing. I think they're a great tag team. Them in addition to this tag team division, amazing. Wherever the Motor City Machine Guns are, also. It's like, I just think we got some great things happening.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very weird for the second week to see some of the criticism of Swerve's title run already. It's just like,
what's going on?
I don't really get it. I've seen people say that he's kind of lost his edge. The Swerve that we knew getting up to the title picture wouldn't have fell for that. And I was like, but he was a heel then. He's not a heel anymore. He's a babyface. And so he doesn't have the numbers anymore. You're supposed to root for the heel when they're root against the heel when they're getting the heat, and he's supposed to look like he's in peril in that segment because he's the good guy. So it's not going to be the same.
Wrestling history has shown that the babyface champion, look at what he got to get to becoming the world champion. He went through everybody. He stepped on people's heads. He used people on the way up. So when you become world champion, none of those people are there because look at what you did to get here. You're this terrible person. And now he's trying to become into this babyface role and he doesn't have as many friends. And that's playing into the whole thing.
Yeah, he immediately had to face the consequences of things he did as a heel. Now you've got Nick Wayne and his mother siding with Christian. Christian is also using the Wembley match against him, which I think is just hilarious that he's like, you lost that match, I didn't. So I think it all makes sense. I think some of the criticism is a bit over the top.
It feels like everybody's just impatient and like, yeah, but like you guys, it's been like 2 weeks. Like maybe like let some things develop. Like we got a contender now. We got things like just maybe, you know what I mean? And like he's been present. It's not, I'm like, I don't get it. But I also do get it because people want to complain about anything.
Of course. See, Tony P says, I also wish he would just use the house call at the finish now and stomp as his last ditch move because waiting for the person to get up has started to take me out at the time over the last few weeks. I can see that. I know he kind of switches it up. Sometimes he uses the house call as a finisher. Sometimes he uses the JML driver, which he doesn't call it the JML driver anymore. He calls it the big pressure now, right?
Pressure.
Yep. I don't know, but I assume he'll switch it up for the big matches. Tony P continues. He says, as annoying as this week was from white people telling what we shouldn't feel is racist to how horny NXT was, there was some good from Lola / Natty to Sykes Willow to May Deeb to shockingly Jericho Shibata. It would be so ironic if we get this thing over. If he gets this thing over, I think he means Jericho's learning tree bit. The match was good. I thought the match was very good. But the character stuff is just still not really for me.
Sorry, I started reading the Rikishi thing. Just the caption is hilarious. Like I haven't heard any of the song, but he's like
Tony P brings up Jericho. And he's like, man, let me get in my phone.
I'm like, let me talk about something. I'm not hear about Jericho. No, but he goes, I wanted to pay homage to the hip hop and reggae artists that motivated me throughout the years. Like Rikishi is really like trying to do an album, is what it sounds like.
Bro, you gotta listen to it, man.
What is going on here? Rikishi's like 75 years old.
Yeah, you gotta listen to it, man. The captions aren't gonna do it any justice. Let's see. We got a bunch more. From Tony P says, and I've been hearing talk from a lot of people that now the trios belts are merged, that now they need to merge other belts or get rid of them in AEW. I get belt saturation if they have no legitimate reasons for being. I don't think those belts are merged. I think they're just unified because they're still carrying around both versions of the belt. So I don't think they're merged.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's an official merger yet. Maybe in the future, but not at the moment.
Yeah, they had 3 sets of belts this week. So I don't think that they're merged.
Right.
See, Tony P also says, however, I also like some of these same fools that bitch for this to happen will then be bitching after it happens, asking could to bring back a belt. Did we not learn from the IWGP Intercontinental and Heavyweight belts or the North American and Cruiserweight belts? Yeah, I foresee that happening as well. If the belts ever really get merged, people are gonna be like, "Well, bring back the Ring of Honor 6-man belts. Why'd you take them away?"
Yeah. You can't win for losing.
I think this is the last one from Tony P. It says, last thing with reports of what happened with Mania and Cody's lack of plans, do you think it can hurt interest in the product after getting back so much goodwill from fans? Also, do you think these short cards internationally could also backfire in the same way? That report, I assume this is attached to that report of Meltzer saying that it was Roman's idea to not lose at WrestleMania and he wanted to win, and then he had more stuff he wanted to do as champion, and for now, there is no definite plan for feuds for Cody until Roman and The Rock come back.
Still Roman.
I buy that, but I also don't really buy that they won't have anything for him in the meantime.
Yeah, no, I don't buy that part, but I do buy that like the end goal is getting back to that stuff. But I definitely think they're gonna have some stuff on the way up. And the it does look a type of way when they do these big overseas shows when it's always like something like when Roman was champ, he was never on any of the shows.
Yeah.
And then like you give these people it's like you're giving them something, but you're not really giving them something. Like this card, it's gonna be great show, great, like the matches are gonna hit and the atmosphere is gonna be crazy. But like, why aren't you loading it up for these France fans? Like, why aren't you like you got like this is like a regular Raw or something? You know what I mean? Like they're not like rant. It doesn't like I would think like if you're going overseas, you're gonna give up like WrestleMania style shows, and none of the overseas PLEs have been like that. They've all just been like, well, we're giving Puerto Rico a show, where we're giving these people a show. Here's the WWE, which is fine, but it's like I would just think there would be more.
I don't, because I've always felt like those shows, especially pay-per-views like this, and you're gonna put them in an international crowd, it's really to be like, hey, here's your taste test. Here's a sample. Hey, if you really want the biggest spectacle in wrestling, if you really want WrestleMania, travel to WrestleMania. Like this is really like something to expand.
This is a here now.
It's really something to expand into those markets, but it's really like we really want people to travel from around the world to come to WrestleMania.
So these PLEs are like hand jobs, pretty much. It's like, you know what I really want. Like you could really get the real deal, but here's a hand job for now. Like you're gonna like it. It's still WWE. It's a WWE hand job, but it's not the full thing.
Kicks, the hand job of cereals.
Exactly. I swear that's exactly what I was thinking of.
If you guys don't know what that is a reference to, and you have never seen that Donald Glover stand up, very, very funny.
Kicks are trash as hell, though.
Yeah, the joke in the setup is that Donald's mother did not let them eat cereal with sugar in it, and so they only got to eat Kicks. And he was like, Kicks isn't really good. It's like the hand job of cereals. It's like, it's good for what it is, but you know what I really want. And that also ties into making this hilarious joke about her buying Cocoa Puffs at one point.
and shaking them up.
And he thought that he was like, Mom's finally gonna let us have some Cocoa Puffs. And then she did the most evil thing I've ever seen. She took the Kicks and then she put it in with a few Cocoa Puffs, and then she shook it up and put it in the same jar.
That is like, pretty sick.
He was so upset about it. He was like, yeah, it kind of looked like a Kanye concert.
Brought it back around. And then that's why when he got the song, I was like, oh, good for him. He brought it back around. But my grandmother has definitely done a move like that with the big thing of Kicks and then put some sprinkles in. So you think you're getting something else, but you're being tricked.
Yeah, definitely being tricked into eating some cereal you don't want. I think that is all of our Humper chats for now. While that's reloading, AEW Dynamite. I thought this was gonna be a intriguing episode to come into after everything from last week. Tony Khan taking some bumps on national TV, not the bumps that you guys want to make jokes about. Cut it out. Taking a bump on national TV and then going on NFL Network with the neck brace. All that stuff was really funny, and I was like, all right, well, how is this gonna turn into an angle for the rest of this pay-per-view? I saw people that thought this meant, oh, this is officially going to turn Tony into an on-screen character. I never felt that way. I always felt like this was a way to get him away from the television product and effectively make the Bucks on-screen authority. Started the episode on, we got the recording of Tony in his office, and then they interfered, and then they cut in with their version of the Dynamite opening credits, which I thought was really funny. I thought a lot of the stuff they did throughout the show was great.
Yeah, I think that I know like what we were leading to was having them kind of be the authority, and knowing what we were leading to, I was kind of like, I don't know, because I hate that trope in wrestling, and I'm happy that we've kind of gotten away from it, at least on AEW. So when they were like, "Oh, Tony Khan's gonna leave and he might have somebody replace him," I'm like, I don't want to have like the guy that comes out every 5 minutes and says, "This match is blah blah blah. I'm authority now." But the way that the Young Bucks did it, I thought was super fun, kind of taking over the show like NWO Nitro style and putting their own twist on it, and having something to do with Swerve's announcement of his challenger, and just kind of being the authorities over the show was hilarious. At one point, I was telling Denise, I was like, I knew I was gonna like this because I knew where it was gonna lead to. And then on Wednesday, that exact thing happened. There was a backstage promo with Renee and who was she talking to? Willow and Stat and all them people. But then somebody comes into the shot and he's like, "Hey, Renee, you got a message. You got a message right now, Renee." I knew that moment was gonna happen, so that's why I was very excited about this. So shout out to that guy that was in the shot earlier in the show. That was cool. You know him?
Yeah, he was on for a brief second. I may or may not have talked to him like within the last 24 hours. Um yeah, that's something that we didn't talk about at the opening. Um to talk about rap. The two of us as a duo have been doing this podcast for a year. It doesn't seem like it's been a year, but effectively, Will left at the end of April last year, and to start May, we started this thing with just the two of us, and we're now officially at the year mark. It doesn't seem like it.
What is time, you guys? Where have all the Cowboys gone? It feels like that was it's funny because I've been planning for Double or Nothing, and that's kind of what was surrounding the whole Will Washington thing last year. So like I'm planning again, so it makes sense that it's been a year, but it doesn't feel like it's been a year. Like it's gone by so quickly. And to know that we've been the spot that we were in when Will was like, "Oh, I'm going to do this," and like what we thought the show was going to become, and how we were planning it out and having guests and all these things. And like we haven't been having guests, and most of it's just been the two of us talking. Is it's still the funnest thing ever, man. It still feels like easy to come and wake up on Saturdays. It feels like we've been gaining, like for a while it was like a spot of like Will Washington left and some of the supporters got left too, and it feels like a lot of them have came back, and I really appreciate that. Today there's an insane amount of people watching us live, and to know that there are people that are stuck around and we've gained new followers and new fans and new supporters is amazing. So I want to thank you guys for being along on the journey. This thing is not always the easiest. Sometimes the weeks are really hard, and I'm like, bro, maybe I'm not going to be on this pod today or this week. And then I get to the pod and I'm like, oh, this is why I'm on this pod, because it makes the weeks better. It enhances the thing. So I want to thank you guys for always being here, supporting us, supporting Phil and I. Y'all are dope. And thanks for Phil for, being my co-host, man. That's cool. We're still here. We're still doing this.
Yeah, it's been a year since Will effectively was like, "Nah, man, fuck the big three, nigga. It's just Big B, nigga." Bomb. It's like, that's not what I said. Like,
that is what you said.
Things gonna be so bad. But no, it's been a definite journey of doing a year with just the two of us. Definitely different. It's still a fun thing. Also doing like the traveling stuff and everything together. Yeah, it's been. That's the best thing I could say for it. But I love the people who continue to keep up with us. The fact that we're a wrestling podcast and you had so many people that were popping up on the timeline all week, like, yo, when are y'all recording, bro? Like, 'cause I'm not trying to hear the rest of these guys talk about this. I want to see you guys talk about Kendrick. I want to see you guys talk, and that's because this Drake thing all of April. And so to think about, like, people have been following us, and so then when you get the payoff of the Kendrick record dropping, it's like, oh man, I can't wait to see what these guys think because they've already been talking about it.
Yeah, to know that reception that we got just this week is like when a big moment like that happens. When it happens in wrestling, it's like, oh, it's cool. It's like, oh, whatever the Grapsody guy is gonna say. Wonder what they're gonna do. What about an emergency pod? That's really cool. But when like a dope hip hop moment happened, when I'm in this Kendrick Lamar song playing it 20 times in a row, and I go on Twitter and everyone's like, Phil and Reg, what are y'all doing? When's Phil and Reg gonna come on? What do y'all got about to say about this? What are your takes? It's like that makes it even cooler because like I love pro wrestling. That's all I ever want to talk about. My life is pro wrestling. I watch too much pro wrestling. It's ridiculous. Also on the other side of that is hip hop. So if I get to come on and talk like this and talk about it with you guys and talk about it with Phil, and you guys are craving and fiending and wanting us to come on and talk about it, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's dope. I definitely feel like this was one of those missed out Will weeks because his guys won, beat the Lakers, vanquished them, and sent them back from whence they came to fire their coach and make somebody else the scapegoat. And we got Kendrick stuff, and he's a West Coast guy. I feel like I'm the only mid on this podcast. I even feel like I am the only Midwest guy. I feel like y'all are like brimming with West Coast pride. Like our guy is going up for the coast again. And I'm just like, that's cool. I'm in the middle. Just like random Lupe stuff came out. Like Lupe got added to the roster of Amanda Seals guys this week.
Huh?
You didn't see that?
No. I just saw the Boldy thing. I didn't know Lupe was there too.
At one point during the Amanda Seals interview, she was giving a story about her being a serious, and she was talking about guys that she was seeing at the time. One of the guys she was seeing was Lupe Fiasco. She also revealed at one point she was seeing Pusha T. So if you look at her roster includes Lupe Fiasco, Pusha T, Bodie James, Lil Scrappy.
She really likes rappers.
Nah, she's linked into the culture, man. Tapped in. No, that Amanda Seals interview has been constant entertainment for me. I still haven't watched the whole thing, but all of the bits I've seen are very, very funny to me, man. Like, I don't know why I've rewinded it so many times when she's talking about Bodie, and she's like, I want a refund. I want a refund. And she's just like, you know how many men I have lifted up? It's so funny to me every time I see it because she just does it like, and she just keeps talking like that didn't just happen. I'm like, wait a minute, you just broke in the song like in the middle of a conversation.
She does that a lot. She does a lot of the office, like looking to the camera, like she knows her bits the whole time.
She's so funny, man. I know some people are like she's unlikable, but I find her very funny, man. I probably wouldn't find her as funny like if I had like personal links there, but I find her very funny.
I'm thinking about those texts that you sent the other day.
Listen. Also, very attractive woman. I think that, maybe, she might have a point sometimes about certain people that says things. So I'll be looking like, man, it's probably them, man. Don't worry about it. It's definitely probably not them. I'm sorry,
definitely, man. This many rappers at one point, like
this many people beefing with you, like, I don't know,
man. She giving out Erykah Badu vibes because Erykah Badu kind of has the same thing. She was with a bunch of rappers and like they're all like, but she's nuts though.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much that they think that she's nuts because Common is for a long time was still very much not over this woman. But yeah. But no, I love that we still have this podcast. I love that we still have inside jokes that people don't understand, and there are inside jokes that people will take from this podcast and make into jokes online. And sometimes I read it, I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh yeah, we did say it on the podcast.
I think
Like-
that sometimes I'm like, wait, have I talked about that before? Why are we saying this?
Yeah, like sometimes I'll see something, I'm just like, oh yeah, that was said on our podcast. Like somebody tweeted Big Cooch at us the other day, and I was like, whoa. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, this that's one of the most interesting things about this is like sometimes things get over or become bits that it's like that I just misspoke, you know what I mean? Like like to know that our fans listen in and
We
what are you saying?
Yeah, we saw something that turned into a big over meme we discussed this weekend. I was just like, might be time to retire these jokes now, man. Retire these memes. It's time. Pack it up. It's officially over.
What was that, Phil? Netflix special coming soon? What?
Yeah, Cody Rhodes was on the Cheap Heat podcast, and at one point, Stat Guy Greg asked him about the Cody Luther King memes, and I was sitting there watching it like, yeah, this is it, man. Pack it up, guys. No more of these memes. It's done.
I haven't liked it for a while. If we're keeping it real, like it's been a minute that I've been like, why are we still doing this? And so things continuously come out. Somebody keeps doing a bit and it works every time. Where somebody's like, I wonder who made this, and it's like, don't wonder who made this. Don't promote this.
Yeah,
you guys.
Might be time to wrap that meme up, guys. Wrap it up.
We love Cody though. Cody's awesome.
Yeah, really like Cody. I think he gave a very political answer to it, which I expected. You could tell that he was a tad embarrassed by it because he was looking around like, I don't know if I should be taking credit for this. But I think he gave a good answer. But yeah, I just think some things get to the point where it crosses that line where it's time to rein it in.
Cross the line. Yeah, just it's like a wildfire sometimes. It's like, okay, this is what the Cody Luther King thing is, but like to me, it's like a wildfire, like it's getting bad, it's gonna get worse, and like it continuously gets worse. But that's just the internet. Sometimes you can't help it.
Yeah, of course not. But yeah, shout out to them asking him about the memes because I don't think a lot of podcasters would have done that. And I think getting him on record to talk about something that is very much internet culture, very much internet wrestling culture in certain circles. And for him to be like, oh yeah, of course I see all these things. I thought immediately like, yeah, that tracks. That makes a lot of sense to me.
And he does see all these things.
Yeah.
It's code.
A lot of these wrestlers do. A lot of these wrestlers be lurking and they see a lot of things that you don't think that they see.
Sometimes people are like, what about vanity searching? They're all doing it. Like if you're talking about a wrestler, they probably saw it. They probably saw your little tweet.
Yes. A lot of these people that are like, oh, this guy is lame because he's constantly vanity searching. Buddy, one of your favorite wrestlers is also constantly online vanity searching things. And they might not even be doing it on purpose. They just see a lot of these things.
And the way that the algorithms work on Twitter now, it'll show you. Like sometimes I'm like, why are you showing me this? Righteous Reg is an idiot. I'm like, why am I seeing this? I'm Righteous Reg.
Yeah. No, that is my favorite thing where somebody is like saying something really negative about you, and then it's like, hey, why am I seeing this? I don't want to see this.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. Why are you advertising this to me on my account?
I want to see this. And then that person will be like, I don't know why this guy muted me. Like, yeah, I don't know either why. Why would I possibly mute you?
I wonder. Yeah, just for nothing. I just hate people for nothing.
Yeah. I saw that, but they do that to wrestlers as well, where wrestlers will see their crazy comment about them and they're like, yeah, no, mute or block. And then they're like, oh, this guy's sensitive. He blocked me. Like, maybe I just don't want to see your terrible tweets. Like, it's cool.
That's it. I can block all the negative I want. Keep all the positive. It doesn't work. Social media is bad. Go outside.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, AEW Dynamite. WWE Dynamite.
Whoa,
Sounds funny. AEW Dynamite. I thought it was great this week. There were some things that didn't quite hit for me, but I thought the concept behind it of having the Bucks running the show was really good. I thought that it worked for the most part. And then, of course, to have it culminating with Kenny coming back to the show, I thought it was the perfect time to do so.
Yeah, this was I didn't know how to feel about the Kenny Omega thing, Phil, because we still don't know anything, honestly. We've been kind of in the dark on his injury, on what's happening. So when he started to get into it, I'm like, oh no, I don't like the sound of this. I've seen Bryan Danielson do this before. Like, I can't take this right now. This was about to retire. This isn't good here. And so he gets into his health stuff, and he gets into some stuff we do know, like he's battling diverticulitis and in the hospital, potentially on his deathbed, essentially. And then he says one brutal blow and that could be it. And so we're like, this is what I don't like about him and Bryan Danielson. They get us in our heartstrings. They tug at the right places. He glazed us up. He buttered us up to get to this moment of I shouldn't take any shots to the stomach, and then he comes out and takes like 5 shots to the stomach. What's going on here, Phil?
Yeah, I think the execution of it was really good. From teasing us at the beginning of the show with Christian coming out and the Bucks going, yeah, it's a Canadian wrestler, he's a former champion, and all these other things, and it's not Kenny Omega, it's Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a great way to troll the audience. But then also having Kenny come out and having the whole Justin Roberts entrance with all the accolades and all this stuff, I thought that was great. The crowd was way more quiet than I expected them to be for Kenny Omega. This is his home country.
Crowd.
Yeah, but I think this is easily his best promo as an AEW wrestler. I thought it was incredible. I thought he nailed like all of the like somber moments of getting us to bite on his condition. And I just think leading up to it and having this ongoing thing of saying my hand was shaking because I was afraid to wrestle, and then getting the culmination of I'm not afraid to wrestle. I'm anxious because I want to get back out there and wrestle because I love to do this and I can't wait to get back. I thought that was really, really great. I think that this is a great way to get us not just excited for his return, but to get excited for what he could do with the Bucks. Having the first person to come out and confront him to be Okada. You're talking about waited a long time for this. From the second this guy came to America and started wrestling regularly on American television, I was like, all right, when are we getting Okada Omega 5 in America? This is a match that we've been chasing since at least Ring of Honor Supercard during that WrestleMania weekend. That was 5 years ago.
It feels like this company is built off of that match, honestly. Like the whole time that this company's existed, I've thought every single time that Kenny Omega has had a match, well, when's he going to wrestle Okada here? We talked about it on this podcast ad nauseum at this point.
Yes.
Well, when we felt like the next big match that they have was going to be on American soil in AEW. And so it still was surreal to get that face-to-face though on Wednesday. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe like this is even a possibility. Like, how did we get from, like you said, 5 years ago to seeing on TBS on AEW in the middle of the ring, Kenny Omega and Okada? It's like, this is insane.
Yeah, and Okada is a signed wrestler. He's part of the roster. The guys that second Kenny Omega in all of those fantastic iconic matches is now aligned with him.
Yeah.
All crazy. Him telling him I'm the best bout machine now. Really, really great stuff. And after he was very polite and was like, hey man, we have this really popular rivalry. What do you say I take some time off and I come back and we finish it here? And he's just like, nah. I'm better than you. I'm the best bout machine now.
That little smirk that he hit after Kenny Omega said his nice thing of like, oh, that's cute, but like, no, it's me, big dog. Okada's his facials and the way that he just walks around like his shit don't stink is great. It's amazing. It's perfect.
Very, very funny. That led to Big Jack coming out and attacking. We got Kenny Omega getting physical, which I was like, is he allowed to do that?
That's what I'm saying. I was confused about the whole thing. Like, can he do this?
But it all worked very well. I thought the execution of Jack being the guy to initially hit him and get the heat off of it, perfect. It's the same thing I thought last week with Tony taking the bump and getting hit by Jack, is that you don't want people to think that this guy is redeemable. You want to continue to push the envelope with this guy and you want to continue to get your audience to boo him.
Mhm.
And I think it's working really, really well. Which, speaking of Jack, man, that time away and that time in Japan done him a lot of good, man, because his promos are
Bro.
much, much better.
Bro, I've been seeing every single person on the timeline being like, "Well, why is Jack Perry so much better at promos? What happened with Jack Perry? He went to Japan and it's great because Ospreay just did that interview on the Swerve City. Shout out to the Swerve City homies. I don't think it's officially. I think it's officially dropping on Monday. But Ospreay told a story about how in New Japan, after every match, they just give him the mic and say talk. Like they force him to do a promo essentially. And Jack being in that system and being forced to do promos has really helped. He's come back being a great promo, but after the little backstage promos he's done in AEW have been like, oh, this guy has fire now. It really feels like he stands behind the words. They mean something, because when he had initially turned heel, that was the thing that I have like, doesn't really feel like I believe him. I didn't believe him at all. Now I'm like, oh yeah, here we go, man. We're cooking. I believe him. He's a heel. He's lying. He's perfect.
Yeah, he's got conviction now. He's got grit to him. He's got a little bit of anger behind those words that feels real. And so, yeah, that time away has benefited him a lot.
It wasn't even that long, Phil. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it felt like long.
I mean, I'm sure it felt like an eternity for him, but like being the time just specifically in New Japan is what I'm speaking of. It was a while for him to be away from AEW, but like in New Japan specifically, learning that he just was a couple months in, and like imagine if he had stayed longer. But like I think it's good for Jack Perry to know that essentially if he's sent to a system to learn something, he can do it. Like there's not much that he can't do. And off the backs of showing that video, I knew that he was going to get more heat off of it. And so I'm glad that he's been put in these big positions. I'm glad that he was the one that was able to attack Kenny Omega. I think all of this is helping him out tremendously.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand people that think he should have been in a title match, but I assume they're going to have something big for Double or Nothing for the Elite. And, you know, he gets to be a part of that.
I also saw some people saying that they think that Swerve should be in part of this instead of being with Christian.
I feel like they're going to get back to that, especially the way the Bucks addressed him. I feel like they're going to get back to that after the Christian feud.
Because the way that Swerve keeps in his promo being like, that was a bitch move, which y'all did. Like, it feels like he's making some kind of effort to get involved with them.
Yes. But yeah, I thought that all the stuff with Kenny was executed very well. I think everything all the way up to them doing the stereotypical heels got the guy down and they're getting ready to hit him with object, and then somebody else's music comes on and the baby faces come out. I think FDR coming out was a good moment, but man, it was hard to not think about what could have been in that moment, and having all the other ingredients together and not having the one obvious thing that's missing here there. It would have been so much different a few months ago, but it is what it is.
I mean, all the Jack Perry stuff and this and Kenny Omega getting saved by CM Punk would have been insane.
the CM Punk chance that started when Jack Perry was already out there. The fact that it's FTR that came out for the save, and there are links to everything and Brawl Out. Buddy, I'm telling you, I know people are going to be upset with me because I know people know I'm a Punk guy, but man, if before FTR started running out there, if we got the Static and Cult of Personality, buddy, I would have been out of my seat.
Yeah. There's some things that's like, this angle is great, but imagine how greater it would have been.
I mean, I still think it's really good. I think
it's amazing.
Everything adding together, but just in that moment when FTR came running out, I was like, oh man. Yeah, Punk would have been a perfect stand-in at this point to come out with them. Because now I wonder who are going to be the other guys that you put in those positions.
I was wondering about that too.
Because FDR is, of course, going to pair up against the Bucks, but you still have Okada and Jack. So you probably need like a 4-man team. It makes sense if it was the Collision guys, and that's why I was like, again, like Punk leading FTR and another Collision guy, maybe Garcia.
Garcia would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah, that would have made a lot
Ricky
of
Starks.
sense, man. Yeah. Oh man, Ricky as well. I didn't even think about that. Collision, another Collision guy, man.
Yep.
Like, I think that would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see who they're gonna add. I mean, Ricky Starks and Garcia could still be added to the team, but they need like a big single figurehead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, and I think that also would have made like them taking over authority figures on Dynamite hit different as well, because what would that have meant for Collision? Does that mean they also would have been taken over as authority on Collision? And I think that would have made the brand split, the soft brand split, if it were, even more interesting.
Right.
But yeah, what can you do? Can't go back. But I do wonder who's going to be those other two guys. If I had to guess, I'm going to assume Garcia is going to be one of them, because Garcia has been teaming with FTR for a few weeks.
Yep. I mean, who's supposed to match up with Okada is what I'm thinking of. You know?
I don't know. Are they going to go back to Pac?
They could. I don't know. Because I'm like, Darby could have filled that role, but he can't.
Yeah, Darby's another one. So Darby would have made a lot of sense there as well, but of course Darby is injured.
Sammy Guevara.
I don't know about all that. I don't know, bro. Listen, I want them to do something cool with Sammy, but I don't know if that's the spot.
I'm like, just maybe somebody to be like another pillar to fight against Jack, but like, I don't.
Yeah, I think if you're just looking for another pillar, it would have made the most sense for it to be Darby.
Yeah,
Darby had the most setup, and again, like the links, the ties to CM Punk, the Collision stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Garcia is all I got at this point. Like, I'm assuming Garcia is the easy pick, but the last guy, I'm not sure.
Someone was saying Kenny recruits the Motor City Machine Guns, but like Motor City and FTR. I mean, it
could.
But like I said, they need a big like singles guy to be the figurehead, I think.
Yeah.
Moxley?
Well, yeah. I actually, that does make sense, because Moxley is current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion.
Okada, Moxley and Okada. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it could be Moxley.
But I'm just thinking, because the reason I was trying not to do like any of the BCC is because they've been connected to like the Big Vegas match, but then also they've been connected to the Big Vegas match, so maybe Moxley could work there.
Yeah, if they do the Anarchy in the Arena again, Moxley makes a lot of sense as the guy that leads them. And then you have FTR, who they just beat, and we never got back to after Revolution. Semantics.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious to see where they go. I see a lot of people in the chat saying that it could be Eddie Kingston as well.
Oh, King. I forgot about King. That's right. Yep.
King, celebrate. See, man, making Martin Luther King jokes. Stop it. Stop.
I'm like, you did it, not me. But Eddie Kingston could fill that role too. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. There's a lot of places they can go with it, but yeah, I'm very much in on this angle. I think they're doing great with it. I think it's a good way to reintroduce Jack. I think right now they're smoking it with those 4 guys as the biggest heel faction on the roster right now. Speaking of this roster, we've got the news last night that Ethan Page is no longer with the company. That started after people realized he wasn't on the roster page anymore. And then Sean reported on Fightful Select last night that from the sources he spoke to, he is no longer with the company.
Yeah, it feels like there were some creative differences. That's kind of like what I've gathered from trying to, because I was initially like going into Supercard of Honor, like it felt like they were setting up Ethan Page and Kyle Fletcher for the World Television Championship. And then Kyle Fletcher came back and then Ethan Page was gone. So I was just like, what the hell's going on with Ethan Page? Like, I don't know what was happening. And so, yeah, it just feels like creative differences maybe at the end. There's a Matt Hardy did a thing this week where he said he left AEW because he wanted to be more present. Essentially, he wanted to be on TV. He wanted to be on bigger things. And there's this thing of like what the wrestler feels like they should have and where they feel like they should be and what the company feels like that wrestler should be and what they should represent. And sometimes those things just don't match up and you just gotta, part ways.
Yeah. There's a funny interaction from Philadelphia. At some point during the media scrum, I think it was Fletcher was up there asking questions. You remember this?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you asked your question, and you could see the look on Fletcher and Tony's face where they were like, they were waiting to see where that question went, and then they answered it. And that was kind of my first hint to myself when I was looking around. Like, I was like, oh, what's happening with the Ethan Page thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been just kind of waiting to see how it played out. And now we see. I think it's unfortunate because I think he's a very talented guy. He was one of those guys that came over from TNA that I thought was going to do well there because he felt like a big fish in a small pond in TNA. He felt like a guy that could be capable of so much more. And it's just disappointing that they didn't have anything better for him. And that's not saying that they need to push this guy to the top of the card, like he needed to be champion. Because I hate when people do this thing. And it's a very online discourse thing where you're like, oh, I think they dropped the ball with him. Well, where were they going to push him? Where were they going to put him?
I hate that, yeah.
Just because I'm saying that I'm disappointed with what they did with him doesn't mean I wanted him to get this major push. He didn't need to be champion, but just give him something better than being linked to Dan Lambert for all that time, or being stuck in the contract stuff with Matt that didn't go anywhere, or being in a tag team that ultimately didn't go anywhere. Then you teased the tag team again and it went nowhere. We never even got anything with the tag team.
I hate when people say that because they think that you saying drop the ball means why aren't they world champion? Why didn't they have a long run? No, that's not what it is. Like,
just give him something better than what he got.
I'm like, if him and Scorpio Sky had an eventful tag title run and something was handed to it, that's not fumbling. That's giving the ball to run. That's giving people opportunities. Ethan Page, I've talked many times on this podcast. They didn't reach his full potential in AEW. Like, I think that he's way more than what was even presented there. When he left TNA, I was like, okay, he's going to get the opportunity to cook. He's insane on the mic, has a really great look. He got in even better shape as he joined AEW. I was like, oh, this guy has all the tools. Everything is there. So this has all been kind of weird, especially like when he was like, okay, I see what's going on. I'm not going to get a big push in AEW. I'll go get a big push in ROH. I'll go carry the flag for them. I'll go be that guy over there. And for him to go over there to do that and then it's still not really work out is so unfortunate, man.
Yeah, and I didn't even feel like, to me, he was like, oh, well, I'm going to go over here because nobody else is doing anything over here. I'm going to be over here, and that means I can be, king of the mountain over here. Mm-hmm. It felt like, hey, I'm very happy to be a part of this brand, and I want to contribute.
Yep.
And it is just strange to see that didn't go anywhere. I really wonder what the story behind that is. But I wish him the best. I'm sure he'll land on his feet. I'm sure he'll end up somewhere. But yeah, just disappointing that the AEW run didn't go better than it did.
There's some things that came out of this that I think Ethan Page is going to be all right. He resurfaced, revitalized Alpha One Wrestling, which has been having a really great run in Canada. They got a show coming up in June. I think it's an American show. They're doing like a crossover show. I want to say in Detroit. I'll get the official details on that. We might have ran into a problem. That's a good thing. Josh Alexander is very available over in TNA Wrestling still. The North was one of the best tag teams in the world.
So good.
I mean, if we got the band back together, that wouldn't be the worst idea. It's unfortunate that that's where we had to get to, because I remember interviewing Josh Alexander for PWI, and I remember talking about it, and he was just kind of like, not just kind of like, we did it already. Not that he doesn't want to do it again, but like the North was for a time, and we're on to something different. But they were so good, and TNA could use a great tag team like that. So on the bright side, Ethan Page is as talented as we're saying, and I think he's going to land on his feet. It's just unfortunate how it all went down.
Yeah. I'll be a bit disappointed if all of this happens and he just ends up back in TNA.
Yeah, I feel you. That makes sense.
We'll see. I would like to see the North back together. I like them as a tag team a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just feels like he had kind of reached his ceiling with TNA, and there was more that he could do elsewhere.
And they doing some shit over there in TNA.
Yeah, that sounds really funny to him, for him to go through that and end up back there, and he shows up in a locker room, and Matt's there, and he's just like, "Oh, funny running into you."
Thought I got rid of your ass. We just got 2 super chats. I don't know how many Humber chats, and then I think that's it. Van Twinblade says, to the LA fans saying that drugs are bad, I think he's in relation to LA fans thinking that they're going to win the chip this year, because it just wasn't.
I definitely saw people that were jumping to this conclusion. If they didn't face Denver in the first round, maybe somebody else would have beat them, and they can beat anybody else other than Denver, so they would have had a chance. No, you didn't. You didn't have a chance.
No chance at all, LA. I fuck with y'all. Y'all are my homies. I'm going to see y'all very soon, but like, let's be realistic. And our last super chat of the day is from one of Phil's favorite promoters. He was very outside in WrestleMania weekend. He had all the WrestleMania gear. It's our homie Rossi who says Darvin Ham releases the same day as 616 in LA was dropped. There's levels to this. K-Dot for a head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. See, Rossi has really good ideas, so like this makes sense, you know?
Very interested to see who ends up taking on that job. I don't think it'll be K-Dot, because as K-Dot told you in the song, he loves peace, and it don't sound like
there's no peace over there. What's your mind state going into that? Feel like I could potentially get the Lakers head coach job, but what comes with it is I have to deal with fucking LeBron James. You know what I mean? Like,
listen, you got to deal with LeBron. You got to deal with like that clip of D'Lo sitting on the bench, like whatever he was doing, like, dude, not even in the huddle.
I thought he was rolling up a blunt. I swear, every time I see that clip, I'm like, damn, D'Lo do not care about this team. Why is he rolling up on the side? I swear it looks like he's rolling up on the side. I'm like, I do that.
It's so funny. Every time I see someone talk about that clip, they describe it in a very black thing that he's probably doing, and I was like, I don't think that's what he was doing. Like, somebody was like, is he eating sunflower seeds? And I was like, I don't think that's what he's doing.
I swear it looked like he was rolling up a bum. I'm like, yo, bro is out of here, man. I don't think he can roll up on the sideline.
Look at the Optimo.
I don't think he can do that.
Like pulling the Optimo in and out of his mouth, trying to get the glue loose, man.
I'm like, man, I knew the Lakers were out, but damn. That's all of our super chats. Y'all are dope.
No, man, that sounds really funny. Him like emptying, like gutting the blunt out and emptying it all behind him
on the NBA floor.
It's all sitting on the court behind, like next to the people sitting courtside. He's just like sitting there, like licking it and spreading it out. That sounds really, really funny.
He's fed up with the team, man. I get it. I'll roll up too. Like, we about to lose our coach. I'm probably on my way out too. I'm about to roll up.
Yeah, that's one of the mysteries. I have to rewatch it to see what he was doing. But the fact that people have made it all of these other things, like rolling up or eating sunflower seeds, is really, really funny. We got a few last Humper chats.
Silly. But yeah, I don't know who's going to coach that team at this point. Good luck.
I don't know. I know some names have been floated around. I saw Tyronn Lewis floated around, JJ Redick. So I don't know. It seems like the usual guys that LeBron is friends with that
Didn't him and JJ have a podcast? If JJ start coaching him, I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I don't know if that podcast is still going, but yeah, who knows? From Tony P says, okay, this is the last thing. Playoffs have been great. As for my boys, just want to keep JJJ, Jimmy, Bam, and Terry. The rest can go. I want us to go after DeMar and Clay. Sorry, you two. We need consistent scoring and rebounding. Who you two want in free agency for your teams? They got a point guard right now in Kobe. We got to see if we're going to get a full season out of Alonzo, because I'm tempted to say a point guard, but they technically don't need another point guard. They really need a power forward.
Yep.
And
I was going to say Warriors need a big, so I don't know, man.
Power forwards that are available in free agency, I don't know. But they really need a power forward. Patrick Williams is not it. And if they re-sign this guy, I don't want to think about the consequences of this guy, man. They cannot re-sign this guy, man. They can't do that.
I don't want to think about the consequences. It's really funny.
You come on, dog. You cannot do this, man.
DeMar's on his way out then.
I don't know. We could end up bringing DeMar back. The funny thing is, I think that the guy that I really want us to trade, and Zach LaVine, I think he would fit really well in the Warriors.
Move out Clay and bring in Zach LaVine.
Yeah, I think he would fit really well. Now, of course, you got to pick up Zach's contract, but
Yeah.
Hey man, get rid of that Chris Paul contract.
Is he gonna come and play? Like niggas like to come to the bay and chill.
That's no longer my concerns, man. no takebacks, no refunds, man.
Touche.
No, sorry, Amanda. That black guy is yours now. No more refunds. No, sorry.
Touche. Niggas come see that Golden Gate Bridge and are like, it's chill zone. I don't care about nothing. Respect. Get it?
Hey man, he want to play on the West Coast. He went to school in California. He's USC guy.
Yeah, I get it.
Hey,
it's nice over here.
Going back to the Bay, man. That's cool.
No, come over here. We'll take you. I'll be high fiving people all the time. I'll give me a LaVine jersey too.
Oh man, that's what the Warriors could use. Another light skinned guy that can shoot. Get on over there.
Bring all the light skins that can shoot. There's a lot of light skins that can shoot over here, but that's another thing.
My dad had me dying laughing, by the way. I don't want to get on a tangent, but he had me dying laughing talking about Indiana. Because he was like, man, that Tyrese Halliburton, man, he's a really good player, but boy, does he play light skin, man. He does all that stuff that as a ball player, when I was playing, I used to get in these guys' faces because they want to play too cute. They want to do all this extra stuff. And I was dying laughing at him until I watched the game last night. I was like, oh, he's right.
He is.
Like when I saw Halliburton come down and he had like a very simple pass he could have made that was just a chest pass, and he like passed it and like spun around. I was like, all right, dog. Like,
yeah, no.
Wait a minute.
Everybody trying to go viral. I saw how DiVincenzo was playing for the Knicks. I'm like, oh, this guy's trying to go viral. He's doing spins between the legs and shit. I'm like, I get it.
Bro, I see Tyrese do a few things in that game that was just like, all right, dog. Like he in the midair doing like no looks. I'm like, dog, all right.
Okay, trying to get on them posters, bro. I feel it. You know the young guys feel they're trying to get their shit off.
Man, shout out to Halliburton, man. I like Halliburton a lot, but I did look at him the other night like, yeah, my dad might have been right, man. He definitely was one of those guys that you ran into on the court. Like, all right, dog. Like, I know you want to look good. Your girl over there, I feel you. Like,
I know you saw all the N1 tapes, bro, but like maybe keep it.
Oh man. From Van Twinblade, he says, stupid white boy with hip hop question on MOP. On MOP's 187, they say, wake up to find out some dude Frank Ocean's you. As a stupid white boy, I need context because that sounds like the sickest burn. Also, have y'all seen War Horses Insta promos? I have not seen War Horses Insta promos. What is the context of this MOP line?
I don't think there's really it's there.
Wake up to find out some dudes Frank Ocean's you.
Yeah,
mean,
it's offensive. I'll just say that.
Now I see.
Yeah, it's an offensive line. That's it. It's not really complex that need to be added to it. It's offensive.
They're trying to say someone download you. Is that?
Frank Ocean's a gay man. Wake up to somebody.
Oh.
That's what they're trying. It's a defensive line. That's it.
Oh, MOP.
Yeah.
Gotta chill out.
Mash out posse. There, what do you expect?
Yeah. Well, I hope we answered your question, Phantom. I make beats 420. Bailey and Damian likely retain tomorrow, but can see Naomi and Gunther taking both titles at some point. Hope they push Priest for a bit though. Bailey could have a long title reign. Excited for the triple threat tomorrow, but AJ and Cody should deliver. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think that Naomi could at one point be champion though, which is good.
Yeah. It is all of our Humber chats. I believe there's all of our super chats, correct?
That's her thing.
This has been a fun special Friday edition of Grapsody. At one point I thought, hey man, maybe we aren't gonna have an episode this week. We'll take some time off and do the post show, recollect and come back. But with all of the bad signals out there on my timeline, I saw that was not a possibility. So here we are on a Friday. Glad that people came out and watched.
Why is it every time that we fake are gonna not do the show that we can't? Anytime we're like, hey, maybe this week it's something happens that they're like, yeah, right, back signal.
No. Yeah, what y'all thought? Y'all thought y'all was gonna go somewhere? Like, what's this?
Every time I'm like, maybe it's chill. They're like, nope, where's Grapsody? I'm like, all right, you guys, we'll see you.
Yeah, no. There were plans in motion from the second people were asking for an emergency episode. I thought about getting on Spaces that night. I also thought about some other things. We had conversations about other things, but here we are, Friday. Appreciate you guys showing up.
Moving parts. Somebody trying to go on vacation and shit. It's all. It's fine.
A lot of moving parts. It's always moving parts, man. It's tough to get three guys together.
Vacation, being a dad and a husband and all right, great, cool, yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, appreciate you guys as always. Thanks for all of your Humper chats. Thanks for all of your super chats.
An insane amount of people watching. 15,400 people on this thing.
Yeah, thanks for continuing to support this podcast with the two of us. Really means a lot to us. But you know what it is. This has been Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. It's Righteous Reg. We are out of here.